Hello, everyone, and welcome back to BOL. I'm sure at this point you may be sick of my face, but I'm here anyway for BOL Emerald. I'm joined today by Control Alt Delete, aka Storm, ready for a new season of Blue Otter Emerald. How are we feeling headed into things?
Yeah, I mean, it's always exciting bringing into a new season. We're also covering two teams today that I think we're all going to be pretty unfamiliar with. Tonight we have Team Flame versus the Fellowship playing in our week 1 matchup. So we have Team Flame over here on the blue side, the Fellowship on the red. I think it's fair to say the Fellowship are mostly unknowns to pretty much all of us. Haven't seen almost any of these players in any leagues that I've covered, from Aegis to BOL to Premier or anything like that. Team Flame recognize a couple of these people. Had seen them in on other BOL teams. There was the Chosen Inters and Kittens with Mittens, I believe. The season before that was also that team that some of these players were on. So recognize a couple of these players, but lots of new faces in this roster. Lots of new faces just in general in BOL Emerald. It's great to see kind of people ranking up from the plat scene and kind of joining us here in Emerald. What are you looking forward to tonight, Rue? Is there anyone in these op.ggs that's really leapt out to you?
Maybe not in the OPGGs, but maybe just in terms of names. There are some absolute names, especially coming through on the Fellowship side. I feel like, so if you're gonna go by the name of Flopper Goblin, like you got to have something in your back
Yeah.
pocket, right? Blue Monster as well. That's a very solid name. Fellowship's ADC there, and I feel like if there's anything that quite sums up jungle as efficiently as Sly Old Man, I'm yet to hear it.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some great names. Interesting to kind of see like the roles and people are doing. I think Flopper Goblin's a pretty good call out because they have a really unique champion pool, and it looks like we are just starting draft everyone. So we are fearless as always in Blue Otter League. Just best of threes for this regular season. 7 weeks, top 4 of each group going to make it into that playoff bracket. Both these teams definitely have a shot. I think this Ixtal group definitely has the most kind of unknowns. Might be the group of life. Feel like a lot of the kind of more known teams that we've seen repeat playoffs in other groups are more towards Shreem and Freljord, so have to wait and see. Bans starting off here. Lulu first ban. Okay, that's a little interesting here. Guess they're wanting to deny some of those hypercarry things. No ban coming through. Guessing that's just going to be, week 1 things. People don't have their games or whatever finished, so might have a couple of missed bans here
Yeah,
from the Fellowship.
I would not be surprised at all. I think, by the looks of things, Chosen has not finished their games yet, so looks like they're getting taxed a couple of bans here, so they will be missing, I believe, just the first two. But on the other side of things, Team Flame happy to take that small little advantage. Wait, am I crazy? That's the wrong way around. Is Benjamin's playing today? Are they playing a sub in? Hold on, I'm going to grind this to a halt. Is Fellowship playing a sub that we don't know about?
Unsure. I'm not in the lobby.
Because why
I
would
quit.
they be the one taxed? Because they're the ones definitely losing those bans on the red side.
Yeah.
If this means that we miss out on seeing Flopper Goblin, I'll be gravely disappointed, I have to say. But at any rate, look at Fellowship being taxed some bans for one reason or another. As you say, the Lulu and the Ari being taken away first. A little bit surprised to see the Lulu ban here. I think, bearing in mind
Yeah.
champion pools, that's a lot more of a sly old man thing, but that's the jungler.
Yeah.
He's played a lot as a support. He's played a lot of support in solo queue. But he's playing jungle here. Minky Bro is the support player, and he has not played much Lulu at all.
Yeah, he is very much more towards like hook champions from the little bit I can see. There's a lot of Thresh games in here. He has some Zillion as well. Um, just a lot of things. Seems to be very much a fill player. Mostly plays towards ADC, so at least he's somewhat familiar with the bot lane role. There's Vel'Koz in here and some other mages and things like that, so maybe we'll see something kind of exciting coming out from them. But as the one ban from the Fellowship, going to be the Ashe, very much a priority pick, especially with that Ashe Seraphine that has become so prevalent as a lane combination. Team Flame going to lock themselves in a Jinx first round pick. A little interesting to see the Lulu ban if they're going to be going with that, but going to be quickly answered here with Caitlyn. Guessing we're going to see a support pairing to go alongside this. There is plenty of junglers available. The Wukongs of the world, any of the fighter jungles, kind of the giant flexes of Ambessa and Zaheen also both up. But no, just going to go with their own support here. Going to take Milio, getting some more safety for their team.
I did wonder if we're going to see a Thresh right here. I think the Minky Bro really does favor that Thresh. The Caitlyn Thresh as well, very solid lane, taking it away from the Jinx, another bonus, but going to go with that Milio, locking it in there A bit more enchanted style, a bit more early lane aggression that you can really go for, and a bit harder to punish as well. The Thresh, if you miss on that death
Yeah.
sentence, it really does sting. On the other side of things now, I mean, what do you fancy pairing up with this Jinx? I mean, the Thresh is there, and they're going to take it.
Yeah, just making sure to keep comfort on themselves, right? Something you're also denying away as well. Devil's Risen does play a lot of this champion. Rakan is kind of like their most well known, but I remember seeing them play a lot of Thresh. He does have a very deep champion pool as well. I think it's worth mentioning. There is a lot of different engage that can be brought out, but just going to take Ornn, really lock down that late game, get a great way to start the team fights off. Milia's already been locked in, so you don't have to worry about a Braum or anything like that in terms of disengage there to stop those Ornn ults. So I'm pretty supportive of the blind pick Ornn. I just think if you want a weak side tank, he's probably one of the best. If you're not picking him, if Sion. Speaking of Sion, there he comes.
Yeah, and I mean, when you see the Ornn already, it's difficult to really work out what you would pick into it, right? Because he's such a great neutralizer. He's such an amazing blind pick as a result, and the team fight start as well is very difficult to really match, especially in the top side itself. Matching with Sion, you can try and pressure early. It's not a great matchup for Ornn. There are mitigations on both sides of that one, but interesting to see how these guys have ended up with it. As we head into our second rotation, moving in to the bans here, we've got Huiban from the Fellowship and a Graves ban coming out of Team Flame, clearly seeing something they don't like. On the other side of things, that is Minky Bro's most played jungler. Not as most played to the split because that's Thresh, but most played jungler. Yeah. Then again, I feel like it should be Sly Old Man that's the jungler here. Am I missing something?
Yeah, I believe so. He is listed on their roster as their jungler, but who knows with how things turn out that people can swap around and stuff, right? That someone can go, oh, I'm playing this role or something. So I believe teams just have to say as they're heading into games. I know mid and tops can always change, but I haven't taken a chance to look at the rules this year. They might have changed or something like that.
I'm trying to get clarification on this while we wait, because these bans are very interesting to me if this is the case. Because, I mean, the Thresh ban, the non-Thresh ban, the Lulu ban, sorry, for Sly Old Man feels like that's just an odd one if he's playing the jungle. And now the Graves ban as well, which is very targeted at Minky Bro. I don't know what's going on there, but at any rate, going to ignore the hyper carry junglers and head instead over to the typical style. We see a lot more meta aligned. That AD Bruiser, Wukong taken on 4, saving the counter pick for the mid lane, and now Team Flame got to work out what they want to do.
I'm not gonna lie, I really hate taking Wukong if we were playing a Caitlyn game, because Caitlyn is all about having pressure early. You want to be able to get ties, things like that off, really play for your early game. Whereas if you're playing Wukong, Wukong is playing his own game. He is like Nocturne. You are just trying to farm till 6 as efficiently as possible to unlock the Cyclone. He has basically no early gank priority. Like his 3v3 fights aren't all that great. He doesn't have the fastest jungle clear. I just feel like this pick, while it's great for the team fights, it just doesn't make sense very much for your early game. You have 2 lanes that are very much all about priority right now, with Silent, who's always able to push Ornn in, and then Caitlyn is always a champion that you need to get CS because that power trough is so huge for them. Looks like we did have a timer run out, so we will have to get word from production or whoever is in the lobby on what that last pick was there in the mid lane. Hearing
it's an Azir? Okay, yeah. That's a little bit crazy, I have to say, for Team Flame to just throw an Azir down game 1 of BOL Emerald, but to each their own. Fellowship now going to work out what they want to take into it. I mean, Orianna feels great. Ziggs as well. Very solid into that Azir. So all those typical matchups we'd like to see. Fellowship happy to play into them. Back to the original point, though, on this Wukong. I'm trying to work out why we haven't just gone Jarvan here.
Yeah, exactly. Right?
It feels like that is the option. That is like the logical choice.
I just feel like that was a really great pick here. I mean, I just feel like your team's also fairly light on CC, right? There's no real great way to land the Ziggs ult, that Mega Inferno Bomb, unless like Scion lands like a ultimate, right? Which isn't something you want to be relying on. It feels pretty hard, I feel like, to play Ziggs this game. Um, I don't think this Milio also has that much value with his ult either for cleanses, right? There's nothing really big that you can do it on. I mean, you can try and cast it in response to that Ornn ult to make sure that your team can then flash away or something, but you'll still be knocked up from that ram. I don't really like this draft here from the Fellowship. Maybe they've gotten some picks that they feel really great about themselves. I think the Ziggs versus Zero is a great matchup for you, and it gives you some push and maybe some ability to get some early dragons. But I think Team Flame just have a much more kind of solid composition. I'm really favoring the blue side here.
Yeah, I mean, for me, this all comes down to how well the Azira's is, because
Yeah.
I think that is certainly a pick that you can take. But in Emerald Cap leagues, I feel like the champions like Azir scare me a little bit. Just me personally, I feel like if you are a one trick, go nuts. But I would steer clear of champions with that kind of flaw, especially, right? It's not so much the ceiling
Yeah.
of the champion, which we know is astronomical. It's the fact that to get any value out of an Azir, you have to know so much. You have to be so well versed with what he does. Your Chosen does play it a bit, but the 2 games he's played in it so far this year haven't exactly gone well for him, and that is just 2 games.
Yeah, I mean, he does play this champion a lot. He has like 70 games of it over the 2 years before this. It's one of his most played champions. He has 300k mastery on it. He is fairly proficient at this. I'm pretty sure I've also cast him playing this before. He's one of the few people I know who can play this champion. But Azir is also, as you're talking about, in an absolute dog state. He is so
He
bad. He
is
has been nerfed
he
out
is
of
been
Pro.
ripped apart.
Yeah, he is an
I'm a
Evelyn
faker.
tier of like, don't pick this champion.
Yeah, just in case you guys are wondering, like how in the doldrums this guy is currently at 46.7% win rate in Emerald across all regions. Like that's not a state where we're saying absolutely go ahead. Like this is a dangerous time to be an Azir player because, as you said before, right, he's so insanely reliant on you having a lot of mastery, having a lot of time played. It's similar to what we're seeing with you champs like Rumble that are so pro-centric. It's where it probably gets like 45% win rate in solo queue, but then still, when the 5v5 comes together and when the players have this much time and this much dedication to the craft, they can really turn things around and make a champion that feels maybe a little bit on the weaker side normally, and just turn it around into something that can be absolutely destructive in their hands. And if that is the case, this team fight for the Flame is insane.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this Flame team fight is super, super good, but the Fellowship have a lot of stuff to push the tempo, right? You have Ziggs, Scion, Caitlyn. You have 3 what should be, in theory, winning lanes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's a huge step up, so it means they need to take this early game, and they need to get Caitlyn plates. A Caitlyn game for me is not a win if you have not gotten at least 4 plates. If Caitlyn ends laning phase at, that 13-minute mark of kind of when old plates used to go away and she didn't have 4 plates, I would regard that game as a failure. That's kind of a thing I'm going to be tracking myself to kind of see how much gold Caitlyn is able to get, just because your mid-game spike around the second and third dragons, which League is very much geared towards nowadays, is just such a huge trough, right? You get that kind of one spike once you finish your first item, and then it's just that waiting time of that second. I mean, the Hex Optics buff, I mean, that is kind of the new rush item I've seen almost every ADC buy, and it is fantastic on Caitlyn, so you at least have that buff going for you, but I'm really thinking that this is going to be a Team Flame win coming out of this for game 1.
Yeah, well, is that the tale as old as time? Head into the first game of BOL Emerald. It's almost fitting. We got team fight on one side, 3 winning lanes on the other. Who will prevail? We'll have to find out when we get ready for game 1. We'll be back in just a few, maybe even with some answers. Welcome everyone onto the Rift for game number 1 of our series between the Flame and the Fellowship, or Team Flame rather, and the Fellowship. It feels so close. It feels so close to working out properly. And I think we have got a couple of answers coming in very early on here as to potentially why we had some missed bans for Fellowship. It looks like we have a substitute support that we were unaware of before we got in here. And it is going to be Mkini Bro. I feel like I'm just going to have to call him Minky because that's the only way that makes sense. He's moving out to the jungle instead of being at support, which then makes those bans make a whole lot more sense.
Yeah, and I am not sure what we should call this support Milio player. I'm probably just going to call them Milio for this game because that is a very interesting
That's the name.
Yeah, those are some keys
One of the
we
names
pressed
I've
on
ever
our
seen.
keyboard. Yeah.
Yeah, well, if you wait long enough, the apes who write his name might eventually make Shakespeare too, who knows. As level 2's reaching top in bot side. Nice hook as well, Death Sentence going to connect. Blue Monster very close to getting caught by that Flay, just get the backstep off, and now it's actually the Jinx who's in a lot of trouble. He already used, flashing forward on both sides. Blue Monster, one more auto, the lethal tempo getting first blood of the year. Devil's Risen as well, very close, going down, one more auto will do it, and that's a double kill instantly there for the Blue Monster. And, well, you said it before. Danger if the Caitlyn gets ahead.
Yeah.
Must be winning lane. Appears to be winning lane.
Yeah, I feel like that's a pretty decent start to your game. Just getting a double kill, like
not bad, not bad.
Level 3, that's fine. It's an okay start. But really, we're all about the plates. That's the real ticket here. No, just kidding. I feel like that's an incredible start. That makes my plate counter go down already to 3, because that's already 600 extra gold in Caitlyn's pocket.
700. First blood as well.
Oh, right, yeah. My mistake.
We're back. We're back. We finally got first blood gold back to where it should be.
Yeah.
But, I mean, look at that advantage already. Across the Rift, over 1,000 gold for the Fellowship off of literally just the first 4 or 5 ways of the game.
Yeah. Also interesting to see both of them, or Cooper at least, has had a very early reset and got a null magic mantle. Gonna be, I guess, going towards that Hollow Radiance instead of going towards Hearthsteel or anything like that. I feel like you could stack that up onto Starchild, try and play that way, but probably a lot safer and more team reliant, and they're probably not going to hate you as much if you're inting for Hearthsteel kills, things like that. But here's Minky.
Looking once more, bot lane not really close enough to get any real threat on to the Jinx, but still pressure put on there by Minky. Has to take his base pretty soon if he wants to get this timer going, but unfortunately going to get hooked once more, even the blind through the bush. I'm not going to see the rest of that play though, because top lane much more impressive to the direct account. Starchild getting the push going in his favor finally. Kappa holding on as much as he can, but is getting slowly whittled away at, and this Wukong is getting quite far off tempo now. We've seen Slayer already taking his space, looking to go once more into the enemy jungle. Got a ward on the other side of Raptors, but they haven't spawned yet. Instead, it's the Krugs. They're on the top side. He doesn't feel like he can quite go that far. Instead, looking for the mid-gank win. It does very become lightning. Flopper Goblin forced into a little bit of a retreat. 3-point strike. Just gonna knock him up, send him straight back down to the ground.
Yeah, very interesting to see that Slayer Jinx decided to go for that. Didn't wait at all, but here's a hook bot lane. This might be a play. No, it just looks like they're going to be a disengage. Oh my god, look at that BF auto attack on the Devil's Risen there.
Yeah. It turns out that a headshot with a BF sword hurts. If you can imagine such a thing. Blue Monster, he's strong. You get a double kill on Caitlyn early game. Your first place with BF sword, and suddenly the game feels so much simpler. And he is just absolutely dominant over this bot side right now. He does get played with the hook. He is completely gone. The shutdown goes over to the Thresh, though, who unfortunately steals the kill away from the Jinx. Devil's Risen want that one back, I am sure. But at any rate, a kill to neutralize what's been happening, at least somewhat here in the bot side, as maybe a small little overstep there from Blue Monster. I'm sure he'd agree.
Yeah, that was pretty brave that he just went for that auto there. Oh, here's the play. Oh my god.
Yeah, and that's a Flopper Goblin. Very caught out. The Stream and Shuffle was nice there from Chosen. One more auto will do it. Doesn't even Soldier. Just going to slap him in the face instead. Does burn Flash afterwards to make sure he doesn't tank an extra turret shot and give that kill straight back. But a kill all the same. Exactly what the Azir would have wanted to try and make sure this is not a 3 losing lane situation.
Yeah, because I was about to say, we saw that there's so much vision coverage that they were able to get for the side of the Fellowship towards this bot lane jungle of Slayer.
Hold on. That's an unstoppable onslaught for an Ornhorn. Carry on.
Yeah, Uh, just top lane fighting, nothing all that big. I think there might be a jungle started up here. Looks like Minky has attempted this, but Slayer Jinx should be around to contest this if they want to. No, instead just going to be that reset there on the Jarvan. But we saw there was like 3 wards towards that bot side of that jungle, which I was really excited to see for Blue Monster, which meant he could play super aggressively. I don't really love the play he went for. I think he should have just tried to maybe secure that first turret play of the game for himself. Maybe looked for a little bit of poke when Orizo went up to get some of that. But nevertheless, great start for the Fellowship. Have that first dragon of the game stacking, which is what I wanted to see out of them. Really want to see them get as many of those as possible.
Yeah, it's another sub I hadn't noticed before now. Thank you for pointing out. Orcus out in to the bot lane for the Flame. Team Flame, sorry, I'm going to do that the whole time. The Flame, the Fellowship, that would be such a good matchup. Why did they have to be Team Flame? Like, come on. Doesn't matter. Any point. He is the Jinx for this game. Looks like he'll be sticking around for the series. But at a similar name, I was trying to read it. I think it was meant to be Otter, so it didn't trigger the this isn't quite right for me until that point. Interested to see how this one progresses, especially through bot side right now, because it feels like somehow the Jinx Thresh have managed to get this push back in their favor, at least for this wave. Getting under the turret, Blue Monster's going to have a tough time clearing this out in time for the next wave to get here. Looks like he should be able to get most of it done by then, but, I mean, tempo definitely Jinx Thresh's advantage. Already taking their base. Difficult for Caitlyn to really get back into this after throwing away that what could have been a very nice early lead as we head back up to the top side as well. Is this even possible?
Yeah, I mean, there is no ult here for the Scion, but this should be at least most of him going down and decides he's just going to go for the wave. Yeah.
He accepts fate. Fair enough. Kappa realizes that this one here is not possible to stick around in. Just going to play for the wave, as you said. Makes a lot of sense. Going to get most of it, but not all. And that's still definitely push without him. Starchild going to help with the cannon wave. Does have an unstoppable onslaught to get back, and he's already alive again because Scion does Scion things. Keeper on the other side of things has to be a little bit careful himself. Just going to go flying in towards Slayer Jinx, flashing over. Mega Inferno Bomb not even going to go close as a result. Devil's Risen going to whiff absolutely everything. The Flare goes wide. The Death Sentence is not even close. The Mega Death Rocket from Jinx also not going to come near. And instead, it's going to be First Blood of the fight. Going over to Minky. Slayer Jinx has gone. Melio with a nice little ultimate there. Trying to get something back, but it is the shuffle from Chosen that really does the damage. Minky Bro's going to fall down, and the Melio is just on the retreat path. Going to be a 1-for-1 overall. Both junglers going to fall down, but that's an amazing hook onto Flopper Goblin. Takes the hook as well. Lands it in. Chosen, gonna go diving on the turret. Dangerous proposition both sides here, but the soldier is gonna stab very aggressively, I have to say. Don't need to be seeing that. That's not very family friendly from Chosen, already with a 3-kill lead over the Ziggs.
Yeah, this counter pick isn't working out the greatest for Flopper Goblin. This is kind of something I was gonna try and highlight as we were heading in, that this guy plays a lot of like really hard counters. Which I'm really great to see that the Ziggs is kind of coming out for them as one of them. That they play like Lissandra and Zed and things like that, and Pantheon mid, Lux, that there's definitely, if your opponent is locking in some sort of basic control mage, I think Flopper Goblin is going to be looking for that really aggressive counter pick, but here's round 2 of the grub fight.
Yeah, Slayer Jinx realizes that he is not allowed to be there, with his mid having taken an off-tempo base, courtesy of Minky, and then top lane, of course, having that push against him with Kappa. Having prior, walks down, says to Slayer Jinx, no thank you, we'll be taking 2 of those. I would like to have some threat on my side lane as a Scion. And unfortunately, with Starchild up in the top side, down about 20 CS, getting pushed under, he could not respond. Doesn't have the Forge God to retaliate, though this is a very greedy base from the Melio. You can see that Zinzao on vision, surely. Does get the Ultra Mega Fire Kick to push him slightly further away. Starchild looking for the knockup. Isn't going to land. The Searing Charge goes wide, but the Death Sentence is perfect. And that might just be an execution. Starchild going to pick up a kill. And that should maybe even get him even in this lane state, as Flopper Goblin doing his best to avoid what Chosen has, an amazing satchel to blow him away as well. Mega Inferno Bomb to disengage, and he should be safe.
Just some item completions I want to talk about coming through here. We see some very odd things for me. The Unending Despair, first item here for Ornn, is very strange for me. We've also gone for Storm Razor here on Blue Monster. which isn't, kind of typical. I really like this item, but I don't think it's quite in the best state. We do have our Nashor's Tooth done here as well for Chosen, who is leading the game in CS here. Has 100 CS at 1040, doing pretty respectably in that department.
Yeah, did an amazing job for Chosen, just under 10 per minute. I think what we're seeing with the Storm Razor is the fact that Blue Monster had such an impressive first base.
Yeah.
Like, the double kill was like, oh yes, I get BF Sword, I do amazing for the rest of the lane. And it's like, oh wait, hold on, I can't go Hex Optics if I go BF Sword. And now he's kind of forced into this decision he made very early on. Still very effective item, still a good use of the gold, but maybe not the most effective when things do come down a little bit later on. As Kappa, this is greedy. Barmy Cinder means that you stand near the Ornn, you start taking turret aggro. Starchild doing his best, but can't quite keep him CC for long enough, and that should be Kappa escaping, at least with most of his health intact.
Yeah, but here is the second dragon of the game, Swan. We do have a big 4v4 brewing down here in the bot lane. If our directed camera would like us to stop looking at this top lane.
But top lane's interesting.
As a top laner, it's not that
kinda
interesting.
Low. He's kind of low. He might die in the next 15 seconds. Surely as a top laner, Chosen will definitely not be dying in the next 15 seconds, he says, hoping that he's right. Drake going to get started up, might try to prove me wrong. Team Flame looking to make the contest come through from the bot side here. They can drop waves in mid, drop waves in bot. See what they can do, but the bombs are landing on their face, and the TP's coming in from top lane as well. Starchild doesn't quite have his. Kappa's a little bit faster, and that will be the Drake at least going over to Slayer. Jinx on the steal. Minky Bro going to get Devil's Risen to start this fight off. Very low is Chosen as well in the backline, but sending it into the backline himself. Slayer, Jinx, you are crazy. Starchild finally shows up, but it is way too little and way too late indeed. Flashing away from an ace in the hole is not going to help you out. Starchild has it all to do. Call of the Forge God going to slowly tick away on the Melio, but he's just about able to escape. Orcazal gets taken out, and it is a 5-0 on the Drake fight. I mean, sure, you got the Drake. Congratulations, Team Flame, but I don't think we can even pretend that was worth it.
No, and that's some big completions that have come through that we just were trying to talk about there, but you saw it. It's Wukong on Trinity Force. Caitlyn had her first item done. We had Ludens finished on our Ziggs mid. This is just these huge item sparts, and it was just, yeah, Starchild was so incredibly late to that fight that it was over like 15 seconds before he even got there. It felt like before that TP even started to get channeled. And there's just so few item completions that were done there for Team Flame. I'm really surprised they took that flight. I mean, thank God they got that dragon. If they didn't get it, this game would have been a really disastrous spot. But a 3k gold lead pre-15 minutes, that's a huge win for the Fellowship. It's great to see this early game comp really pushing their lead forward.
Yeah, and that's the type of fight that when you have those winning lanes, you really want to take. And it was just the smallest of TP advantages that Kappa was able to utilize there. Starchild waiting for it to come off cooldown. He was probably pressing it, spamming it, hoping it would finally come off. But Kappa, having used it maybe 5-10 seconds earlier the first time round, has it 5-10 seconds earlier this time. And it is a massive, massive swing factor on the second Drake. Team Flame committing a whole lot to it. And they find themselves now quite a lot. We pointed out the ways they were missing as well to make that contest work. They dropped bot wave, they dropped mid wave. They didn't even try and push through one lane to get you something going in that direction. They just completely dropped everything, sent it onto the Drake, and well, they got the Drake, but nothing else afterwards. As we now head back into this kind of in-between state, right? No things spawning apart from Rift Herald in 40 seconds. Still massive danger. No in-between state for Devil's Risen. Flashing away. Death Sentence not enough at all to collapse onto Minky Bro. Gets the Cyclone R2 onto Orcazal, and that will be a double kill over to the Wukong. And, okay, we talked about earlier on in draft, we wanted to see a more aggressive jungler. We want to see someone who could do something pre-6 to get his winning lanes ahead. We didn't get that. But what we have got is Minky Bro doing his absolute best after 6 to make sure these winning lanes stay winning.
Yeah, definitely an incredible job there getting that damage done, and we can just see how squishy Devil's Risen is this early game on, like as this Thresh, right? Pre-item has Swifty boots as well, not even taking tank boots, and is just getting absolutely obliterated by this Wukong, who's on a really big spike, and Caitlyn might even finish her IE here off this base. Does.
Wow. 15 minutes IE. Need I say any more? I might need to say any more because Starchild is getting ganked up in the top side now by Minky. Of course, no Cyclone, much less threat, but that won't stop Kappa from trying. Unstoppable Onslaught will do precisely that. And get Starchild completely out of there. Flash as well burned by the Ornn on the top side. Not the type of play you want to be making on the weak side, unfortunately. Just great gank time there from Minky, out of base from making the play on bot, straight up to top lane, impacting absolutely everywhere right now. And the only thing that's not necessarily going the way that I'm sure the Fellowship would have wanted is this mid lane. It feels like Flopper Goblin has fallen a little bit behind the curve, but I mean, hey, still got 2 winning lanes, and the third one isn't all too far behind. If you can get the Ziggs ahead, I don't really see how Team Flame have a way of sticking around in this, but they're already down 5k gold.
Yeah, the bounties of shame have spawned. Something that you never want to see, really. Bounties are never a good thing to see on your side of the match, and it looks like first brick is going to go down here to Blue Monster as well in just a couple of minutes here. It's a minute till this next Drake spawns, and there's 2 item spikes compared to the 1 on your team. This is feeling like a really desperate fight if you take it for the side of Team Flame, but at the same time, it's like, how can you stall the game out if you don't take this? Maybe it's the Rift Herald into a bounty in the top side, but...
That's a way to stall.
Yep. That it is.
What if we stop playing? How about that? What if we just like stop for a little bit and work out if that's effective? It seems to be very effective. I have to commend them for this one. Ingenious as well, but not going to change the overall outcome of things. Just taking the pause here. We'll of course bring you information when we find out what may or may not have happened. But I would assume it's a disconnect, and we'll get back into things as early as possible. It does give us a little bit of time to discuss maybe some of Team Flame's options, right? So by getting that earlier Drake, maybe that's enough still. Right, I feel like contesting this Drake, dangerous could be an understatement.
Yeah,
they could try.
Suicidal, I think, might be the term I would throw out.
That completely valid, I think. At any rate, because you sent 5 men to their deaths to claim a Drake earlier, you don't have to do it again. Right, that was a bit of a one-off. Yeah. It's still 10 minutes away from Soul at the very earliest, right? Because you got that, we're looking in kind of 27, 28 minutes Soul. At which point it's like a 34-minute Elder. If you look in that deep, hey, that seems playable. You look at your wave clear, you're like, okay, maybe that's playable. You look at your scaling, hey, I feel like at this point, we just peel back. We wait. Yeah, I think I believe it's a Chemtech Soul as well. We ignore what's in the top left because it lies to us when it's a Chemtech or a Hex deck. Hey, that's not a game-winning Soul. It's annoying to play into Amelia with Chemtech Soul. Don't get it twisted. The Scion as well is going to do some unspeakable things, I'm sure. But as Team Flame right now, I'd say, you know what? Just sit back. Just sit back and scale. We need to get our Jinx stronger than she is right now. 116 CS, 1 assist, not enough to be fighting on. We are going to need to wait 10 minutes. And if you want to contest Soul in 10 minutes, because it's game changed a little bit different, Jinx has 3 items, go ahead. If you don't want to, also kind of fine. I feel like you can almost just take an Elder Flip in this game is probably better than if you take a fight right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very much on the case of, I feel like they should be playing for this bounty on the Rift Herald and do a bounty on that tower top lane. That would be the play I would be trying to make, or something along those lines. That is a lot of gold you can get back into you. You can see up in that top corner, right? 1,000 gold for killing that Rift Herald. That's a lot of money.
A lot for a Rift Herald, by the way.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy, actually, for a Rift Herald. 1,000 gold for killing a Rift Herald is insane.
Yeah, right?
If you can get it on this Drake spawn timer as well, I hadn't even... 1,000 gold for a Rift Herald, that is absolutely nuts. It does look like the turret top has 4 plates, so that might be a bit difficult, but... I mean, hey, if you have a chance, why not?
Yeah. That's kind of my thought you rotate Jinx or somebody up, you try and do like a 3 or 4 man play up towards this top lane after you get it. Maybe see if you can force Scion off, burn some time away from him, because you're not defending this bot lane tier 1. It's basically not there. It's on like 100 HP, something like that. So that tower doesn't matter. So you don't have that safety down there. So you can't afford to go into a fight that way. Your mid lane, your guess is kind of like you have pushed there, so you could rotate that way up towards this Rift Herald as well. But I really kind of think Flame is just going to send it at this team fight again. They have Ornalt, they have Team P. That's what I think they're going to do. I don't agree with it, but I think that's what they're going to do.
I really hope they don't. Their team fight is not there yet, right? This is what we talked about during draft. This is a team fight comp against 3 winning lanes comp. And the silver lining for Team Flame is that it wasn't even 3 winning lanes. It was just 2. They're very winning. Let's not get it twisted. That is Blue Monster, who has 2 items compared to Orcazao, who has just about 1. But it could be worse, right? There could be a jungler absolutely running riot. He's still doing insane, is Minky. Let's not get that twisted as well. But things could be a whole lot worse. We don't need to be taking this fight. I really do hope, after all these talking between this pause, they're able to take this time to analyze the game state as we are. They're able to take this time to work out, is this necessary? They can look at Tab as much as they want. They can take this time and say, you know what? I don't think we need to do this. And I really hope they do that.
Yeah, but I mean, we'll see. It looks like we're resuming play here, so we'll see what the call is here. Just pause, because spectator client things.
Yeah, just right things. Don't worry about it. I'm sure we will be with you momentarily, as play will resume in 0 as of 15 seconds ago. So I really hope there hasn't been a bug. That would be annoying. I don't even know what to say about this one. There we go.
Post pause.
That got me scared. That got me scared.
Yeah. Okay, so 30 seconds on this Drake. You can see this top lane tower is probably going to go down to Capper as well. Starchild is kind of forced to fight in this lane and kind of losing because he doesn't have a Sunfire item.
This is brutal.
Yeah. Yeah.
He does not want to be here.
No, he does not.
Sorry.
No. As if to say, Slayer is towards the top side. They are pinging on towards this Wrist Herald. It's a miracle. We're going for the correct play. We're giving up the dragon to the insanely fed strong team. We'll love to see it. Capper does spot this out and says this is happening, so there is the possibility that they can run over and try and contest this, but it should be going down. It is a Rift Herald after all. Pretty easy to take down this objective, especially when you hit these eyes.
Yeah, and especially when the Caitlyn Emilio and the Wukong all prioritize this bot tier 1, right? It makes a lot of sense from Fellowship's point of view to potentially give over this Rift Herald. They may have been a little bit too late to contest. Instead, they're happy from their perspective to just go down. But hey, there's something going back in Team Flame's direction. There's still a trade. It's not maybe the trade that you would have wanted to take at minute 0, but when you're in this state, any trade where you can get some gold and the enemy team gets some gold is probably an okay trade. You just need to get something going in your favor. A 5k gold lead at 10 minutes is probably game ending. A 5k gold lead at 20 minutes, that's playable, right? We're somewhere in between right now, but the longer you take and the longer you can keep this at 5k, the better it'll be for your team, because you have the scaling advantage. It's not just the Ornn value, it's the fact that you have a Zit, the fact that you have Jinx in team fights. The Xuntao is also incredibly tanky. Forcing out ultimates like that on a great little show up there from top side, exactly what you want to be doing there as Slayer Jinx. And it's just these type of macro moves right now, what's really going to keep Team Flame in this one. And if they can keep this gold lead roughly where it is, then 5 minutes from now we can be talking a much more positive picture.
Yeah, exactly. And it's that, like you said, that scaling advantage. The first ornament on the tree here, that first Ornn upgrade has come through here for Starchild. We see Blue Monsters kind of rotated through, is just going to start demolishing this mid tower. And this is really where the Fellowship, after they get this tier 1 tower in mid, needs to go. Here goes Chosen.
Shuffle time gets the flash out of the melee at the very least. Flash into a death sentence, but the early use of the ultimate is going to get the early cleanse. Mega Death Rocket doesn't find anyone because the Zin's already got the kill, but it's a 1-for-1 Mega Photobomb, sorry. So many ultimates and weird names in this game, but another kill at any rate. Going over a Slayer Jinx, sent a little bit too deep. His Crescent Guard did not survive long enough, and now Orcazao is in a whole lot of trouble. The Satchel deletes the turret, and that is an insta-flash away for the Jinx, who just got half his health deleted by, I believe,
he died.
Q. The other half didn't last much longer.
Yeah, that was a crit. Those feel pretty powerful right now on Caitlyn. Building towards, I'm guessing, is going to be their last Whisper item as well, with these 2 longswords in our inventory. So just going to be able to get rid of that armor value as well, to be able to try to do this damage to Starchild as well. Just kind of the old school Caitlyn build coming through here from Blue Monster. Says, I don't need any attack speed, I just need crits.
And to be fair, them crits hurt. So fair enough. As Starchild also feeling the pain somewhat here from Kappa, whose shield is enough to tank at least 2 or 3 turret shots in his own right. So I'm sure he's absolutely fine with what's going on in the top side. Is maybe going to be forced to tank a couple more than he would have wanted, courtesy of his Balmy Cinder item. A Hollow Radiance providing a little bit.
Taking this and taking that tower.
Don?
There's...
He doesn't fancy the turret, instead they want to make a play on bot side, and he's been told don't make 2 plays at the same time. Unfortunately, it doesn't come to much anyway, and your Crescent Guard does not save someone else on your team in the circle. Slayer Jinx avoids the damage from himself, but Chosen unfortunately gets absolutely dumped on by the Flopper Goblin, and that'll be a second kill as well, courtesy of the Cyclone. Mickey happy to take that one, and this is now the opposite of what we were saying for Team Flame. They got the Rift Herald, congratulations. The rest of the game has completely disintegrated.
Yeah, I mean, this bot lane tower is probably going to go down here as well as this mid tower going down. Yeah, just Zig's value. And now you can just look to, like, open the game up and just go for Baron plays, right? You have a Scion who can tank it. Wukong can do that as well. You could just hard force onto this objective. You don't even have to play for Soul at this point. You could just get a Baron and end the game.
Yeah, I think Blue Monster may even have his 3rd item on this base, just based off how much extra gold he's valued, everything he's got throughout this game. Ooh, so close to the LDR. Not quite there for him. These 2.5 items, 3 item spikes, make it a little bit precarious. I feel like if you had the 3rd items, then it's kind of, you know, full steam ahead. But as things stand, Kappa still maybe is killable if you have like 5 years or so in a 1v4. And hey, wouldn't you know it? They may have 1v4, but they don't have 5 years. Instead, Unstoppable Onslaught going to get a lot of distance here. Devil Risen, though, still turning up. Going to get at least the shield out. And hey, they got through the shield. Let's go. Let's see what they can do with the rest. No Unstoppable Onslaught. It does still have a flash to get a little bit of space. Mega Inferno Bomb is beautiful to get a dunk onto 3. The hook once more. The Forge God called. And Kappa is still hanging on. 1,000 HP. The amount of time is taking at least enough for his team to get the Drake on the bot side of the map. Double knock-up from a Decimating Smash, and finally, the shutdown will go over. And hey, if they have a 1v4 in 5 years, they will get the kill.
Yeah, our Phantom Dancer 2nd item Jinx with Hex Optics, it does not appear to be doing any damage.
Correct.
Yeah, that's a really tough one to see. Slayer Jinx is going to be able to get at least some plate money here towards the top side while the enemy team was taking Dragon. You can see the Fellowship have that 3rd Chemtech Dragon done now. Kind of wish that they just forgo that and just pushed instead to try and get some damage down on this tower and then turn back to that, because there's no way that Team Flame is contesting that ever. Gonna see Ornament coming through there. That's the Hex Optics upgraded. That's not really the greatest upgrade to see coming through either.
Well, it's either that or it's the Phantom Dancer, which is would give additional attack speed and move speed. To be fair,
yeah,
Hex Optics only has AD and crit. It doesn't upgrade the crit. That is just 1,000 gold worth of AD. So I think it's what, like, is it like 30 AD he gets for that?
Yeah.
Could be worse.
I mean, I feel like maybe we just upgraded our Azir's item, get that Shadow Flame upgrade or something like that. But here's the Baron start. We see Kappa is just in bot lane, has Demolish and everything in his Scions, does do damage to towers, and it's just forcing the enemy team into an ugly situation. Probably going to burn this TP here. There it comes out of Chosen. And now Scion just gets the push, and we disengage away, and we just repeat this process.
Amazing decisions here by the Fellowship. They know how to play with an advantage. Something we see a lot with new teams, the ability to play as a 5 in these types of situations that they might not be so used to playing as a 5. But they seem very willing, very able to play from this type of position, as they should, as they will be claiming things on both sides of the map, while Team Flame catch something back in mid. And Devil is not risen. Devil is dead. That was an amount of damage that he took very, very quickly, and unfortunately, taking that much damage very quickly is not very good for living. But Minky as well, can't explain that one. Just a random death as Blue Monster gets baited forwards. Oh, the Searing Charge. That means he can't even fire the second call of the Forge God. Blue Monster will be able to escape, but it costs both summoners.
Yeah, and we can see Kappa has just been wailing away on this bot lane turret. Even got a whole bunch of time to hit onto this inhibitor as well. Doesn't quite have the time to take that, and your Caitlyn did lose 2 sums. But I mean, that's a pretty worthwhile play. Wukong as well died crucially before he has bought his Guardian Angel. Doesn't have that one in his base, so he didn't have to burn that cooldown. Was a shutdown going over to Chosen? I think it was just a little bit too deep of a play. Menki just took a whole bunch of tower shots there, and the Azir was pretty much free hitting while they were really tunneling in on Devil's Risen.
Yeah, and I hate to do this, but he's got a steel sigil, and he's also got a longsword. Now,
Yeah.
for a Guardian Angel, that needs to be a much larger looking sword.
Yeah.
Is he doing a Death Dance thing instead of a Guardian Angel thing?
Maybe. I mean, it doesn't matter, man. You're a Wukong at like 3 items. You can build
That's fair.
whatever. If you're building a fighter item, I'm pretty happy with them. It just Protoplasm second on this Ornn seems again very weird to me. You have no resistances at all, basically. Just that little bit of armor. So I'm not really loving this build from Starchild here, and we can see that I don't even know how Capper, even with this like 0 MR build, I don't know if he can even get threatened by Chosen. It's the Azir, right? He has like
Yeah,
just
it
follow
would
Radiance.
only be Chosen who could do damage, though, I think. But now that Randuin's is there as well, or Orcazal, who we saw previously struggle to do damage to Kappa, is going to struggle even harder. And we're seeing this very similar 4-1 split come through once more.
Yeah.
Chosen matching into the Sion, but he does not have TP after TPing the previous time around. As such, Fellowship going to find a free Purple Worm at their disposal. Very nearly steal there. Nice Mega Death Rocket going to come through from Orcazal, but still not quite enough. And as such, they will turn attention down to the bot side. 1 versus 4 with 5 years. Is it possible? Do they need 10 years now?
Yeah, probably, and it's also that thing of 30 seconds till this dragon is spawning. You can see the Fellowship beelining, making sure to cross their T's, dot their I's. Here
Devil.
comes Minky.
That's a greedy ward to clear, my friend, and I think he's just found out why it's such a greedy ward to clear. Deleted before the fight even starts, and that now makes the split push threat of Kappa even more oppressive. He does not even care about the home guards, he's just running it as fast as he can to where these minions are in the top side. It's a 4v4 around the Drake fight without the main tank, but Fellowship, they have been happy to play this whole game as a 1-4. Now, especially Devils is gone, this is a very free-looking Chemtech Soul, and we talked before about how important it would be for Team Flame to be approaching this phase of the game with the Gold League not having extended much. Slayer Jinx, you're a psychopath, fair play. I respect that.
Okay, I'm sorry. That was a fantastic smite. Amazing job there from Slayer Jinx. But what the hell are you guys doing not dragging that dragon out of the pit? What is wrong with you?
It's one of those
actually, the Fellowship
a great
thing?
play from the jungler, but there are so many caveats that shouldn't have even allowed it to be possible. And I know exactly where you're coming from, because that shouldn't have been a possibility. I respect the hell out of it from Slayer Jinx's point of view. Gets the objective bounty as well as a delay on this soul, but unfortunately does, of course, cost his life. Mid-tier 3 going to be taken as a result, and they may get triple inhib off the back of this anyway, at which point from the Fellowship they say, I don't care. We still have a minute left on Baron. If we have a minute on Baron plus triple inhib, I think they get to end the game anyway. So maybe that's enough for them.
Fight them.
That's a Forge God.
Kill them.
Well, now they don't even have an engage button. No more Forge God for Starchild. Has hit level 16, but that may be all he gets to for this one here. They're trying to wait for these minions to come through, and the longer they wait, the worse this deals for Team Flame. It doesn't really do anything else. It's just a stall while the Nexus turrets inevitably fall down. Blue Monsters firing autos from outside of everyone else's attack range. What can you do?
Yeah, Capper just needs to stand in front.
Hold
Here
on.
we go. Now they win.
Starchild, nice engage idea, and the Zinzal's dead, the Ornn's dead. Okay. It is definitely over. Kappa may end up falling down. We never know. As a nice shuffle is going to at least get a couple of them lower. Minky is going to fall down. Floppergoblin has to flash away from the turret as well, but the second Nexus turret is surely going to go down. Nexus turret's gone. Nexus itself imploded, and Chosen unfortunately falling just before time as well. And it will be the Fellowship cleaning things up. It took a while, but they got the job done. They had a winning game state and they converted it. From where I'm concerned, that's enough.
Sure. I mean, as far as like being you want to be making playoffs and things like that, it's a great look for you. It's a great win to pick up. You know, in BOL, every point matters, right? It is points that you get for these games as well. Just having to deal with that and having those points towards the later season does mean that you can get it. So it's a great win from them. There's some things that's like, there's some stuff you can go over with your coach if you have something like that, or just as a team, right? There's definitely some points where you can say, we could have done this better, and just macro wise and just other things to clean up that game. But you've cleaned it up. there wasn't a reset there when you guys got triple inhibs. If there was, I was going to be very upset. But the Fellowship, great win, was able to convert off the winning lanes. Something great to see. I really thought this game would be able to be dragged out by Flame, but just lots of early game mistakes, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, and taking those fights from disadvantageous positions, getting punished very well by the Fellowships. They take a commanding start to things here in BOL Emerald. We'll see if they can continue that, or a Team Flame will be able to strike back after a short little pause before we get ready for draft for Game 2. And welcome back, everyone, to BOL Emerald. Week 1 is, of course, getting through our first series of the split. Team Flame, unfortunately, taking the L in that on their Fellowship, picking up Game 1 as we are ready to hop into the draft for Game 2. And we expect to see a little more of the same, at least in this first rotation here. The Lulu banned away, and I believe Fellowship going to have to carry on those two missed bans for the rest of the series.
Yeah, I think so as well. Interesting to see that Flame keeping this, that they're not wanting to go for any sort of priority pick to something that's really great with the Lulu. You know, one of those real hyper carries that you sometimes see, like there's always Yunara, there's Aphelios, there's things like that available to you, but instead they're just going to continue that one, the Nocturne ban as well. Okay, we do see a ban coming through from the
hold on.
Fellowship here. They do
Maybe
have
it's
a
just Game
Braum.
1. Maybe it was just Game 1. Maybe I spoke too soon. Braum and
Yeah.
Alistair banned away. A heavy focus on sports, no matter what the case here. As I'm interested to see why it's such a heavy focus on these melee sports. In this meta, it feels like that's not really been much of a thing. And thank you for the clarification in chat. Only the sub for Game 1. So back on track are the Fellowship, ready to head into this second one here. As it will be 3 melee supports banned in 2026, with an Ari still on the board.
Okay, so I know what I think you should counterpick this with, and it's something I saw in ADL almost every week, and it's Mel, because you absolutely slam Ari. It's an incredible lane counterpick. It's really good for early game fighting. It gives you a prio position as well. And it feels unplayable as Ari to play into this champion. I feel
Was
like
this
Ari's
before or
good.
after the Giga nerfs? I have to ask, sorry.
Even in finals, I was seeing it. So like a week
When were the
ago.
finals? A week ago, okay.
A week or two ago. Like still, even with the Giga nerfs, Mel destroys Ari. It's a matchup you cannot play. Pre-6, you can't dodge her Q. You don't have the range to. And the reflect just means that you can never throw out charms. Instead, we're going to go Graves, get a really strong priority jungler. That was banned, I believe, in the last draft, right? That was banned in round 2 by Team Flame.
Yeah, it was second rotation.
Nautilus.
Gonna take
okay.
Graves Nautilus. Now, I have a personal vendetta against Graves. I have my issues with this champion, and most of my issues stem from the fact that it is fine in solo queue, but when it gets introduced into the 5 versus 5 dynamic, where everyone can start talking to each other, its value really does start to fall off. I think Graves is just one of those champs that feeds off of a lack of communication, and we'll have to see if the story is going to be similar this time around, as it looks like Team Flame going to be taking a lot more of their supportive picks here. The Rakan and the Vi for jungle support taken on 2-3, lacking in their lanes right now. The side lanes needing a couple more. Fellowship, interesting to see what they want to take here. I mean, Melt's still definitely on the table if that's something they want to look for. Also, a Flopper Goblin special, the Lissandra, completely fine into the Ari as well.
Yeah, also amazing setup for that Graves. You're playing for Graves if you're first picking Graves for your team, and you're taking this engaged support as well. So I think that Lissandra is definitely a good shout out as well. Wouldn't be surprised to see Team Flame down that. Rakan also is a huge pick here for Devil's Risen. That is their most played champion. I know like almost every season he plays a ton of this pick from what I remember. He has 31 games of it with a 60% win rate just in this split. They also have the Xayah available to them, right? If there is this heavy dive coming in, Corki, Nautilus, Graves, a lot of things are pretty short range as well. I think Xayah is looking like a really great ADC here.
Yeah, Xayah's not banned, of course. I would be shocked if they don't ban Xayah when you already see Rakan. But a lot of things to consider right now for the Fellowship, looking to take away some of the potential top laners. They don't want to see Set's a really weird ban from where I'm standing. I feel like that's a lot more taken as a counter pick and a lot less blind. Zion may be a bit in between, but are they tipping their hand at taking their top on 4 and waiting on mid lane here? No way, right?
I mean, Flopper Goblin is the one who has the champion pool that you really want counter pick, right? So that would be my thought, is you just take your top lane blind, but who knows? I mean, the Lissandra and Galio would be the two things I think you would want as your blind mid, so I think you just take a top lane tank here, but who knows?
You already see mid.
Drafts.
Yeah. Ari on the other side.
Yeah.
What? Oh, I
Yeah,
would just pick mid right now if
yeah.
we're Fellowship, and they will eventually. Wow, that's a
Okay.
little bit off the beaten path.
Yeah.
Okay, just straight into the Echo.
Uh, that's crazy. I'm looking and I do not see any games of this from Flopper Goblin.
And I'm also looking at Ari in terms of Ari matchups. It's not it's not one that she hates either.
Yeah. Yeah, because you
Um,
can E him out of phase rush, right? Like, sorry, out of the phase dive, I believe, the Echo E, where it's like kind of that blink thing towards you. You can just E, and he dives into it. It's similar to the LeBlanc chain.
yeah. Many things are happening right now. The Xayah wasn't banned, and yet it still wasn't taken as well for Team Flame.
Yeah, that's crazy to
They
me.
go to the Sivir instead, which Sivir is in a great place right now. Let's not get that wrong, but I mean, just all sorts of crazy happening across the Rift right now. Team Flame taking a dependable blind pick for their top side to finish things off. Nice tankiness as well into the Graves. Can definitely mitigate a lot of his value when he looks to gank up on the top side. Fellowship need something to spin this one around in their favor now for Kappa. And you see
Yeah.
Cassante, Garen pops to mind, but doesn't seem like he plays a lot of it. I don't know what I'd fancy here.
You just have to take some sort of like slam the game pick. Shen, that's a great Cassante counter pick if you're going by solo queue data. Feels really good to play him into him with that. And Shen does play a lot more damage orientated than he has in the past, right? The kind of build right now is Titanic Hydra into that Dusk and Dawn. It's like you are a little bit more threatening in the side lane, but it is that thing of like the team fight for the Fellowship sucks. I think it's fair to say, right? We are not playing 5v5 as the Fellowship ever.
Yeah. Well, in fairness, they did just win a game by avoiding team fights like it was a play because their side lanes and all three lanes were just that dominant. This draft may be slightly less focused towards just winning lanes, and that may be the downfall of a comp like this, right? I feel like they've identified a win con that they can play around, where it's win all three lanes and win the game from there. But the way they've gone about it between these two games is very, very different, and that difference could potentially become their undoing.
Yeah. I'm just gonna say it. I straight up hate this Echo pick that we have taken for us. Um, it just means that the wave clear for the Fellowship is so lacking. They have so little ways that if this game goes wrong to stall things out, there's just no way. They get run over. So they really need to build an early game lead again. Again, I'm looking at Team Flame and I'm just going, wow, this is such a good team fight comp, right? Like, how do you ever approach fights when there's Rakan Vi Ari and you are playing Corki? It just seems impossible to me. I mean, sure, you have Shen Shield and things like that, and there's the dual threat of Graves, but I feel like this just seems impossible to play for Blue Monster, who is so instrumental in that game one win for them.
Yeah, well, let's see if history will repeat itself very quickly afterwards. Lightning may indeed have to strike twice here for the Fellowship. Win lane, win game. Worked out well in game one, but game two feels a little bit more difficult. Flame, their team fight once more should be Imperious, but they struggled to get there in game one. Had to see if things turn around for game two. We'll be back when it's ready in just a few. Welcome back to the Rift for Game 2 of the series between Team Flame and the Fellowship. Just getting into things here, the lane phase has just started, and we have a very similar question to what we had headed into the Rift for Game 1. Do you win if you have a team fight comp that might get put down a little bit early on? Or can you scale through some winning lanes, or do you even have winning lanes for the Fellowship this time round? Maybe more of a question there than we had earlier, but at any rate, they're looking to scale through these lanes. The team fight, much scarier from where I'm sat. Feels like it has not as much impact as Team Flames, whose team fight this game should be even stronger than perhaps it even was in Game 1.
Yeah, there's a lot of incredible synergy in between these picks. You have so much pick potential here. Devil's Risen again. This is kind of what happened last time. Didn't get nearly as punished as least to see. No double kill at level 2. Monster not having the same monstrous start. Probably good to see for them. Interesting to see we do have both of our junglers pathing towards the same side this game. They're about even with each other in terms of their clear speed, which isn't great to see. As Minky, you definitely want to get a huge early game lead. That's kind of how grades functions. You just need to get an early game lead and two-shot people.
Yeah, well, we'll see if he's able to do precisely that, as it will be a nice tanking of the hook shot, the hook there from Devil's Risen. Still, the trade definitely going in the Nautilus's favor, as top lane is apparently also very interesting. Bot lane definitely where the action is for now. I think I like the engage attempt this time a lot more from Devil's Risen than I liked it in Game 1. Mainly because A, well, they didn't die, and B, they had level 2 advantage. In the Game 1, they tried it,
Oh, flash!
and it didn't quite work, as that was a flash charm from Chosen, and he lost the trade and died.
Yeah, so remember what I was saying about how you can E and you can just charm Echo out of his E? So if you flash E and Echo E's
into
in, yeah, you actually get the E is actually gonna not register and it's not gonna hit. So great job by Flopper Goblin getting that solo kill there. Kind of showing Chosen what's up. He does have TP as well, so he can get back to this lane. Did he just cancel his base and stick around at like 150 HP as Echo?
I think he may have done. I don't know if he got cancelled by a minion or something. The wave's miserable, to be fair.
Yeah.
Chosen having TP'd back himself. Does have the wave in a good spot, as they are contesting topside. Crab that got close, sledging, smiting slightly early. But Minky unable to double scuttle. Both junglers going to take their bases. And it will be a little bit of a reset across the rift. TP straight back to the wave, though, is Flopper Goblin. Will be able to mitigate the worst of what could have been quite a rough lane state. Welcome to mid lane. Lane states are nowhere near as punishing as they could be elsewhere.
Yeah, this isn't top lane, so this freeze probably isn't going to be that big of a deal here for Flopper Goblin. Interesting to see blasting one in our first our inventory. Probably Dusk and Dawn Rush. I believe that's the Echo Rush item.
Would make sense.
Used to see a lot of Lichbane on this champion. Can go even towards the Ludens and things like that. So not really locked into anything here. Does have a little bit of time to roam down, get some vision as well. Just places it to see if he can play aggressively towards the bot side, because he does know that Minky is on his top side here.
Yeah, and he knows that because his Graves is on top side, both if you know where both junglers started their first clears, their second clear is going to start in the same place. You know where your jungler is. You can kind of guess where theirs is. Unfortunately, it seems that Sledging somehow opened up about a 1-camp lead in this early rotation, but the ward on the Raptor is going to spot out exactly where this Vi is hiding, and as such, we'll give perfect information over to Flop, make sure he plays on the right side of the rift, make sure it doesn't die to a random gank. So should Sledging choose to go for it, choosing just to clear down to his Krugs, though, makes a lot of sense. And it might be the typical fight over second crab for level 6 on junglers, as we are fighting once more of mid lane. Flopper Goblin absolutely running it on these matchups. He is dominant over Chosen.
Yeah, this game around, he is looking absolutely incredible. Looking for the outplay here. Oh my god.
Oh,
he is R. He is R. He is R.
Okay, that's where we panned away.
Yeah.
Chrono break. Please don't do that again. That got close. Now, flash advantage has been mitigated, as that was a potential all-out angle there for Starchild. Didn't fancy it, maybe looking to take Kappa down further away from the lane. If he can get him through the wall towards his turret, it'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Where the lane is right now, I mean, he's actually dominant. Okay, let's go. R3 onto it, straight through. Not allowed to look to Pathfinder, as I think that will be Kappa flashing away as Chosen. Look at your health,
fly. Okay,
Stand United up to Flopper Goblin. He lives. No, he doesn't live. It's 1-for-1. What is happening? He went Flash Ignite under the tower to Sly Old Man to get that kill. and both mid lanes end up falling in a bit of a like fire.
Yeah, I think chaos
Things happening.
is the apt term for what is happening right now. Minky now caught out as well. There is no kidnap here for
Very
Starchild.
caught out.
Use that, but
If Slayer's able to get this crab, he'll hit 6. This means that Minky has to force has to fall way back. The first crab after everyone's jungles done their second clears is the level 6 crab. So that's why Minky really wanted it, but nice roam down there from Starchild, guaranteeing his jungler gets that massive breakpoint first. It means that Minky now has to go towards one more camp. Has chosen beautiful depth charge landed there from Sly Old Man. Caught out in mid once more, no flash, no spirit rush, and no more chance at life.
yeah, I think we were both incredibly worried about this Echo here mid for Flopper Goblin, that we weren't seeing a lot of games from it. He's looking pretty practiced at this. He's looking good so far on this, and I'm kind of worried because Minky isn't really that far ahead. We see he's gone for that early lethality, excuse me. There is that serrated Dirk in his inventory, so he's playing that way that you kind of have to as Graves. And I haven't really seen Capper winning this lane that hard towards top lane. From what I've played of Shen into Cassante, this is a pick that I played a lot of. It is really hardcore winning if you know what you're doing on it, but it is a pick that you have to have a little bit of practice on. Kind of surprised that it wasn't something like the Garen or something like that. If it's just for the sheer fake of, I want to win the lane, maybe would have liked to seen that come out here, but can see that you just put down that W zone, it becomes so hard for Starchild to actually trade efficiently on you. You can
trade efficiently when the wave looks like this, though. I'm going to caveat that one, because this wave is huge, and Kappa's tanking it all up right now is nice. Depth charge going to hit on the bot side of the map as we move away from whatever's happening up there. Frostbomb, nice forward step there from Devils, going to avoid the worst of the damage courtesy of Corki. And that will somewhat neutralize things, as definitely not neutral is this mid lane. Another Spirit Rush forced out, this time by Flopper Goblin, as that was a grand entrance. So it wasn't all too effective on the entrance. Doesn't have to quickness his way out to safety, though, as he gets out clean enough. As things stand, going to go back in instead with the quickness. Nice charm on to the Nautilus. Insta-kill going to be going his way, somehow taking away from his ADC, from his Vi, as it's going to be the Graves firing everything forward. One more auto courtesy of a Valkyrie, bit of distance. Blue Monster going to get another kill back for himself. So it is a 1-for-1 in the bot side, with Slayer Jinx getting, not Slayer Jinx getting the kill, sorry. Rakan got the kill, and then Blue Monster getting the other one in return. All 4 summoners from bot lane was used. That was a charm into a minion.
Yeah, that was a flash charm again. Maybe we start doing our charms on people who've been CC'd.
Or maybe we just don't flash to try and land the charm. Also a fan of that one.
Yes,
this guy is everywhere. This Nautilus, it feels a little bit OP right now. We're used to seeing other champions being able to be everywhere on support, right? We think, great roaming supports, like Pike. Yes, he can be everywhere. Bard, he can be absolutely everywhere. This Nautilus is all over the Rift right now, and he's way ahead of his Graves. The Grove's being taken right now. He's looking to contest. They can make it potentially 4 versus 3. Devil's Risen a little bit late to this one, up from the bot side. Walking through mid right now. Styleman taking the fight. He's just level 5 still, though. All this roaming has cost him a lot of XP, and it's a beautiful grand entrance as well. All 3 Grubs already taken, and Slayer Jinx looking to turn this fight once more in his direction. Flopper Goblin, absolutely 0 mana. Starchild flying in, goes all out and dies instantly because he had 3 HP when he went forwards. A little bit awkward there as the charm will connect finally, but it will only land onto the Nautilus, so it'll be a 1 for the Grubs trade, and still Fellowship end up with a little bit of a gold advantage. Devil's Risen, please don't make it a 1-for-1. Sorry, a 2 for 0, and the Grubs trade. That would be bad, as he's going to get hooked, and he might just be a bait. Oh my god, it's a bait. Beautiful play from Devil's Risen. Sly Man going to get caught out entirely. Enki trying to run away as best he can. The quickness going to CC him up just enough. Tries to reload, gets charmed on the way out. And Chosen finally gets things going back in his favor. A double kill on the Ahri. Does have to drop a wave to do so.
Yeah, but that game's pretty even at this point. Looking like it, and we're even going to see there's some counter jungling coming through here as well. Flopper Goblin not even able to stop that, so this Graves getting even further behind. We see our Hubris is done without any stacks on it or anything like that, and it's gonna be an issue for Minky, I think, to get into this game. But Sly Man's been making the plays. Have to see if this Nautilus can continue to link up with Minky in this jungle.
Yeah, right. We've seen the Nautilus has been everywhere, but I guess he hasn't been everywhere enough, because Minky somewhat struggling right now. 2 assists still would be nice to have, but would also be nice to have some extra stacks on his hubris. Only gets the hubris after those kills, after those kill participations. Therefore, does not get the stacks, does not get any of the value out of this item properly just yet. On the top side, Starchild still trying to hold on pretty well. Currently even in CS. We head back down to bot because Flopper Goblin is looking for an angle, and that will be a nice charm to help Devil Risen escape.
Yeah, but here comes Sly Old Man on this roam. You see Devil's Risen is here as well. There's the hook landing.
Okay, Devil's Risen down to half HP already. Nice grand entrance once more. 2-man as Minky also going to get forced up there.
Oh my god, they all flashed over the wall.
Is now trying to turn things around. On the hunt, trying to find this Graves, as that is surely just a 4 versus 3 at the end of the day. Numbers advantage will prevail, and Team Flame happy to take another 2 in their favor. 1 for the Vi, 1 for the Civet, as that is an all-out angle of, I mean, all time. Kappa, good luck, my friend. Looks like he may have been able to just about flash out to safety. Starchild doesn't have the flash to follow. Still a massive amount of prior gain on the top side. Oh wait, Shen has TP.
Yeah, Starchild, I think, hold that. That was nerves of steel from Capper, I will say.
Nerves, balls, whatever the hell you want to say. He held on to it. That was close. I was clenching and I wasn't even playing.
Okay, so again, kill lead now here for Team Flame. They have this superior scaling and the team fighting for themselves as well. So this is looking like Team Fellowship are going to have to start doing something kind of within the next while, or I think they have to be really worried. This is just a minute till this next dragon comes around. They did get the first one of the games secured for themselves, so they do have that going for themselves if they want to try and stall things out, but I don't think you're looking to stall things out with this comp. You're just trying to fight as much as possible.
Yeah, and that was actually quite late first Drake as well. Looking at the timers, with that spawning in a minute, it was taking about the 9-minute mark, which completely passed me by. The Grubs fight way more interesting, but as we say, it's quite a late first Drake, which means that the second one is as such also delayed. TP advantage firmly in Starchild's favor as well. Of course, Kappa can just appear when he stands united with his friends. So 5v5 possible. Interesting to see if either side really wants to take it, as those first item spikes are coming online for everyone, apart from the top lane as we would expect. Just taking the time, a little bit of posturing, as a little bit of trading as well is what we get to see. Let's see if we can have a look down at this Drake. The pre-vision being set up right now. Very solid vision on their side of the jungle for Team Flame, but nothing deep apart from maybe one ward on the other side of the wall that hasn't been spotted. Mainly the river though controlled by the Fellowship, as the Drake is starting to fly in and Starchild finally starting to lose some trades.
Yeah, but Capper immediately backing off, looking for this stand united here, making sure, and Starchild is just trying to mark them to make sure that they can cancel it. Here's that
Flash, all out. Okay, he's happy to trade this. Flash all out. He probably is going to die for the overall play, but he may have saved the 4v4 in return. Flash cease and desist is going to get Blue Monster caught out after Slireman had already fallen down, and it is an amazing sacrifice play from the Cassante. He knows his job this game. This time around, it was not to join the team fight. It was to make sure the Shen could not. The 4v4 strong enough, and Team Flame win the fight and the Drake.
Yeah, just again, while there was equal footing in terms of the items, they really needed this to be an advantage for themselves. You know, Capper is going to get a little bit of a lead for themselves here. We'll be able to get this plate, maybe even 2 up here towards top lane, but just not what you want for yourselves, right? You're all about this mid-game spike. Graves on Hubris, and it's still no stacks on it at all.
Yeah, Flopper Goblin, though, looking to turn his own fortunes back around from once they once were. Did have that 2-kill advantage to start things off. He's taken 2 to deaths since then. And Minky was looking, see if there's a little angle to throw an ultimate over the wall. Can't quite see it. Chosen tanky enough, healthy enough to make sure he survives. Did burn Flash by the looks of things during the Drake fight alongside Orcazo. A lot of summoners burned in that play, mostly by Team Flame, but hey, when you win the Drake fight as a result, you get a couple of kills on the back of it. No one is going to be complaining, as Kappa may be complaining about being stuck in the top side with this Cassante. It just feels like he has a lot less mobility than Shen would like to normally have, right? Shen, you love playing Shen when you don't have CC on the other side, because that means you can ult whatever, and it does not matter. When Starchild is willing to do things like we saw in the previous play, just going flash ultimate to make sure you can't join, feels a lot less fun, as now, maybe even more less fun, if that makes sense, as Slayer Jinx turns up to the top side. looking to really put the squeeze on Kappa here. Rift Herald in, gonna get a couple more plates, but unlikely to get the turret.
Yeah, there's a roam here from Flopper. Instead, gonna cancel that and just gonna walk back down towards mid lane. We see Loud Man was looking for a play, maybe onto this Ahri as well. Does have that ult, the depth charge available.
Straight into another one.
Yeah, nothing gonna come of it. So yeah, just Capper just kind of being forced to stay up here. Has not had a chance to reset after getting those kills and those plates. He's just sitting on all these components right now. He would love a chance to get back in.
Absolutely would, but can't quite find it as of yet. And this Graves is really starting to fall off, right? Graves is one of those champions where you need to start the snowball early, and you need to really be snowballing. And that's why I personally am not here for a Graves in any organized 5 versus 5 play, because when you're playing solo queue, you can snowball a game by just taking fights and seeing if you can stat check your opponents. In here, if you try that, you'll be 1v3 very quickly. That doesn't quite make it over the wall, and as such, Cassante does not get to have a Cassante moment. Kappa happy to take that kill, and topside down, even his first item spike, still waiting on Titanic. Does not matter in the end when Starchild can't quite find the angle to go through the wall. He tanks a couple extra turret shots, and that will be Kappa picking up a solo in the top side. Hopefully for him, getting a little bit more space, as that's a nice charm into mid. Flopper Goblin not tanking the best of that trade, but overall just about okay. These lanes starting to get a little bit late in the lane phase. These guys still be here, but this turret's still holding on.
Yeah, no, turrets really are...
That's a crazy recall.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What are we doing?
He's gonna live.
If he escapes, then, like, okay, but you had to burn heal and your ultimate. Dangerous.
No.
That's Stand United angle. Beautiful play from Kappa. Realized that Floppy Goblin's in a bit of danger. Goes straight back to where he came from, and Chosen bit up a little bit more than he can chew. You got to bear in mind the Shen can turn up at a moment's notice. A great play there by Flopper to close that gap so easily on the Echo.
Yeah, I'm surprised that we committed our flash there from burning instead of just using our Stand United there. I guess the timing wasn't there quite on the shadow of it being there to land onto Chosen, but great job with that Time Winder, just getting that fantastic ult there. And it's the thing, we can see Corky's almost getting to a big spike for himself. He has his Trinity Force done. Muramana is almost finished getting stacked here. So maybe Blue Monster can do something for this team, but it feels like time is kind of running out for the Fellowship. This Dragon in 30 seconds, I think, is their last one to fight, and they need a pretty big win.
Devils is playing on the knife's edge. We've seen him the whole way through the series. Play on the knife's edge. It didn't necessarily work out all the time in game one. Typically when you are behind, it makes it that much more difficult. But this time around on the Rakan, a little bit tankier than even he was on the Thresh. Feels he can play so far over the edge that maybe he tips over from time to time. Starchild trying to neutralize what's happening in the top. Kappa, no ultimate this time, just has TP. Can still turn up though, as both top players might be looking to turn this into a 5 versus 5 situation. Chosen though, somewhat zoned out by the fact that he's still catching the bot wave around his tier 2 turret. Flopper Goblin definitely has first roam up, looking to make a play on towards mid. No one there to catch him as of yet, not even spot him as of yet, but that will give away his position. Looks to go diving onto Devil's Risen, a major void. Nice hook early in. Slayer Jinx into the backline. Massive damage from both sides. Devil Risen barely hanging on, finally going to fall down. Flopper Goblin gets the first kill of the fight, and unfortunately the Sivir is completely zoned out. Doesn't matter though, the Sivir is not the main carry. It's the Ahri who's diving through the rest of them, but they're only able to get one. Chosen, a one and done, and even caught out by Kappa on the end. Flashing over the wall, barely looking to escape with that insane Titanic Hydra range with a beautiful auto attack. Will finish the job. Now Starchild is 1 versus 4.
Wait, he went in with that Pathmaker?
Pathmaker was forwards. He has then Q3'd away, goes all out, and gets a kill because Cassante.
Sure. I guess just Cassante thinks. That's crazy, though. I said they had to have a big win. That's a pretty big win here. Kappa getting that kill onto Ahri as well at the end. I really hate that we are building a Sunfire Cape here instead of Dusk and Dawn as the Shen. You do not need Weave Clear, man. You have already built Titanic Hydra.
That's a lot of wave clear.
Yeah.
That's a lot of wave clear that you already have.
Yeah.
I completely sympathize with your point. You have the wave clear.
Yeah.
Who needs wave clear when you already have wave clear? I don't know. But I'm going to have to put that in chat because I feel like no one else has already. Cassante moment for Starchild. Down 2 levels on his laner, and yet still able to go in 1 versus 4 and pick up a shutdown of the Flopper Goblin. I mean, what do you even say at that point?
Yeah, this champion is an abomination, I think is the thing I would be saying. I hate Cassante. I hate new champions. 200 years of game design is too many years to cook something up. But as far as a win, that's a pretty big one for the Fellowship. That first tower of the game has gone down for them as well. It looks like they should be able to get this mid-tier one as well, which should help open the game up and give Minky some more choice, some more places to play. Has his collector done now, which is a pretty big item spike for him as well. Hopefully allow him to steal some of those kills to make sure he gets those hubris stacks up.
Well, I hope for his sake he's be able to do that, but feels like right now, the Fellowship are going to be playing for a lot of their lane opponents, right? That they're playing for this Echo, they're playing for the Corki, playing for the Shen. They're the guys with the kills. It feels like Minky, a bit of a thought on the back burner, an afterthought, if you will. That's the word I was looking for. Minky just existing, trying to do some damage. Did quite a bit in the previous team fight, but it's just nowhere near the normal setup you get from an AD Bruiser, as that is disgusting amount of damage. He didn't even get the full value of his Shadow Flame there. He just got him low enough to start taking Shadow Flame damage. What an insane trade for Flopper Goblin. Chosen really struggling. We're seeing right now how much push these guys have in the side lanes. The Shen starting to force out Starchild rather, from where he wants to be. Chosen also forced into some really precarious positions. Flopper Goblin, he's just pushing this tier 2 in his face.
Yeah, I mean, he's threatening a dive for this kill here, right? He's looking for this E forward and just constantly doing it on this tower. Just forcing Chosen to stick around at this really awkward HP amount. There's the... Okay, alt burn.
Okay, Spirit Rush. Nice use there, but still has a Chrono Break if he wants to go back. Will do precisely that. Unfortunately, in Slayer Jinx ult range, and that will be a kill. Nice gank there by the Vi, but you show Vi on bot side. What spawned on the top side 3 minutes ago? It's a big old purple worm. Your jungler is nowhere close. We think we can take it in time. We have Corki damage. We have Graves, who is pretty good at chunking through a Baron such as this. We'll see if anyone from the Team Flame is able to turn up in time. The Vi getting close, getting into the banana brush. Will maybe be able to turn it into a flip. No, not quite. Caught up by the Shen. Nice use there of the taunt from Kappa to make sure that the Vi was not allowed near the pit. Pathmaker from Starchild not going to get the kill. First kill instead for Minky. Gets the reset onto Hubris as well.
Yep,
nice charm from Chosen will deny the rest of the Graves play. And as you say, why are we taking that fight? That could have been a disengage. Instead, it's just the one Baron that survives. Blue Monster has it all to do now for the next 2.5 minutes.
Okay, so we're not going to have our split push having this Baron, but at least we have secured the Purple Worm. That is a big injection of gold just for even taking this objective here. We can see there is a 4K, 3K.
What was that? Please tell me he doesn't die. I've just blacked out.
Yeah, I wasn't looking at that. Yeah, what happened there?
He just walked up a mid. He literally just walked up beyond his turret on mid and died. Okay. That was the only Baron remaining. Now Flopper Goblin has to run away as well in top. Has Chrono Break, has Flash, but has no more turret to play around. The TP in from the Cassante actually putting the pressure on in the top lane. It looks like they're going to swap those lanes around once more. Flopper Goblin should be heading down to bot, I'd assume. No, stick around with this HB. Crazy play. But now they have no Barons left, and the gold lead is 1,000.
Yeah, not as good. I also hate that our Shen is continuing to build tank AD items only. Is very worried about the Sivir damage for some reason when he is laning against Cassante. And
to be fair,
now Ahri.
To be fair, the Sivir does have 3.5 items.
Yeah.
I'm also scared of the Sivir. But while they're laning in the side lane, it's not as much of an issue. But I think at this point, the Fellowship know where this is going. They know that this is heading up with team fights. One more coming in about 30 seconds or so around this new Drake spawning. Could potentially be a Chemtech soul point for the Fellowship, or could be a denial from Team Flame. These Drakes heavily delayed so far this game. See if that trend's able to continue. We'll see if one side's able to take it convincingly. As Minky's walking forward, dashing forwards, Chosen half HP instantly,
Flopper,
but the
start
quickness is
TPing,
absolutely
please.
huge, and the Vine is even bigger. Slayer Jinx straight into the backline. Corki eviscerated off the face of the planet, and Sly Old Man is not able to quite get the kill. Finally, the Rakan going to fall down. Minky's deleted, and it's Flopper, Goblin, Copper that last two solo lanes trying to do everything they possibly can. A Chrono Break still available, going to send it back. Chosen still very low. Basically a 3 versus 2 right now. The shed through everyone gets a nice talk, but Flopper Goblin still going to fall down, and now it's Kappa 1 versus 3. The Ari still stayed alive, but hasn't got to take this fight. Instead, Orcazol just taking it nice and slow, doing the damage they need to do, pushing the wave, and they can dive the turret or they can kill the turret. Doesn't really matter which order. Looks like they're going to dive it first, and they will indeed get the kill. Slayer Jinx gets out safely, and sure, the Drake was delayed by another minute, but it's second Drake apiece. The fight much more important for Team Flame, and they claim all 5 with just 1 death.
Yeah, and it's just a messy team fight again. It's people going in and not talking to each other. We saw Flopper Goblin had just started hitting this turret when Sly Old Man like fully committed to try and get those kills and things like that. That was absolutely insane here that we weren't on the same page, and I don't understand. These guys are in comms with one another. Hopefully this like communication can get short up, because the Fellowship look like this game is slipping away from them. Chaos is still on the map right now, but it's slowly looking like team fights are going to be the name of the game more and more, especially if we're engaging when our top laner is split pushing and getting freestanding gold on the map that's just denied from them still. This tier 1 tower is still just sitting there.
That is ridiculous. The top lane
Yeah.
tier 1 of all the tier 1s is still going.
Yeah.
Is a little bit crazy to me. It's the final tier 1 that's left on the Rift. Great job, I guess, by Team Flame to hold on to it. They're putting pressure in the right places at the right time, and it just hasn't been able to be taken, and it's going to take a little while. If Starchild is in the lane, he doesn't need to let that wave even get close. He's tanky enough to just hold it way outside, clear it in his own time, and eventually going to get forced back, as this was aggressive. We'll go with aggressive from Sly Old Man. Just standing where his old tier 1 mid used to be, and unfortunately, that is a death sentence, and he's no longer even playing Thresh. He wasn't playing Thresh in the first game. He wasn't here in the first game. It was the other team that was playing Thresh. It doesn't matter at all, because it's a triple kill for Orcazo. Burns Barrier in the process, but he does not care, as his Rakan does get deleted somewhat by the Echo. Very close there on the charm, but now tier 2 going to fall down in mid as well. And I'm just left with question marks. Why are we there in the first place? Why are we defending a turret that doesn't exist anymore? Why are we trying to defend the turret we can't defend when we don't have our support?
Yeah, I think it was just a case of Sly Old Man just being a little too aggressive, was looking for that ward over the wall towards that brush in that tier 2, but just that's not a place you're allowed to be right now, right? You don't have that tower, but Flopper Goblin going in.
A little bit in danger here. The Echo just happy to take a 1v1, gets 1,100 gold, and gets straight back out of there. Thank you very much, my Rabadons.
Yeah, that's a pretty big pickup here. I mean, unfortunately, it's at a timer where there's nothing really on the map you can take. It's 30 seconds till Baron spawns, so maybe you're able to push in here with Sly Old Man and use these mega plants that are on this Chemtech Rift to see if you can get some vision set up maybe for this objective, because that's the thing that's going to be fought for the next part of the game. But yeah, as you point out, there's Rabadons. We also see the Seeker's Arm Guard coming in here.
Huge.
So there is that Zhonya's check now for Flopper. Has that additional safety layer. Can drop the W and you can Zhonya's on yourself. Really, really powerful play there for the Echo. So hopefully we can see Flopper do something like that. But
Yeah,
it's hard. I feel like Capra really needs to start winning in this side lane against Starchild. He just isn't with this tank build. You just don't have the damage to cut through this Cassante.
Yeah, both teams effectively just trading waves on that side. Like on the weak side, the 4v4 on the rest of the map somewhat less simple to digest, but what we're seeing down right now in bot is they're just trade waves back and forward the whole way through. No one gaining advantage, no one losing anything as well, though. And in some ways that does favor Team Flame. I think the most important thing from the previous play we should point out is that Orcazo did flash. Doesn't have a very key summoner for the next 5 minutes. That might be enough to turn things back in Fellowship's favor just a little bit. They've proven they can get onto the Sivir when the Sivir has flash, when they're a little bit isolated from the rest of their team. If you can do it once, hey, maybe you can do it again. There's a little bit of a fishing attempt there, found there by Devil. Unfortunately, can't quite land anything with that grand entrance. Happy to walk away. Have to dance back out to safety.
What is
This
Capper? Why
is
is he going, man?
interesting. I don't know where anyone's going anymore. TP's going to come through from Starchild. Devil's Risen going to sacrifice his life for the play. Support's both going to be extinguished. As Flopper Goblin is trying to go full send, but is completely deleted. And Minky is unfortunately not able to get onto Chosen either. Does still get the kill onto Orcazo, who's caught in the middle of absolutely everyone. But still going to fall down. A second kill for Chosen in the fight. Looking to go forward, and that's a beautiful flash play from Starchild. Going to get most of Kappa's health. Finally going to go down eventually. Right, guys, there we go. Pathmaker looks like it will finish it off, and that will be the Baron, as it is just Blue Monster left alive, or it won't be the Baron, because we're not interested in objectives. We see a Corki on our screens. We must kill the Corki.
Oh, there's the flash
Corki. Go on, get in. One more auto. There we go. Flash auto, that'll do it too. Slayer Jinx, unfortunately burning an extra summoner, but I'm sure he won't mind in the long run. Does that deny the Baron play, though? I have to question. If that denies Baron, then I'm going to have to call not worth.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's no Baron happening anymore here, but there is this dragon spawning in just 10 seconds here. And I think it's Strike Club round 2. That's where we're going. Sly Old Man.
Oh no.
Really far forward.
Oh, missing the charm though. Chosen TPing back into this after getting his health bar kindly replenished by the fountain. Means that Flopper Goblin doesn't have as much kill threat as maybe he would have wanted. Slayer Jinx going to heal himself off the Scuttle Crab that spawned at the bot side river as well, clearing out the vision that was there in the banana brush. Also seeing there's something around this blue buff as well, taken there by Minky. Drake, uncontestable, I'd have to say here for the Fellowship. They agree. They're just going to back off of this one. Don't fancy the random fight. Instead, happy to just get their ways in a little bit of a better state and hopefully avoid what could be a very nasty Baron play in the next couple of minutes.
Yeah, and it's just the big issue for me is there's so many things that you are so far away from that are such big spikes for you. Like, yes, Grace has an IE done, but he doesn't have Last Whisper into all the armor stacked up from Team Flame. You know, Corki doesn't have his IE yet. So you just have these really big spikes kind of waiting for your team. Flopper Goblin here on the side lane as well doesn't have his Zonias completed. So he's missing that needlessly large rod, which is a big spike of AP as well. Doesn't have a, you know, any pen like this Void Staff that's there for Chosen. So there's just big item kind of completions missing here from the Fellowship. This game has gone late enough that they need those pen items, and they're just not in the inventories.
Yeah, I mean, the only one who does have it is Blue Monster, who of course has some extra pen in his kit with the Gatling gun that ruins every single spectator client that we've ever seen in League of Legends.
Yeah.
Does still have that, so
noise on
maybe they're saying, you know what? If we have Gatling gun and we have LDR, then we have enough, right, guys? We have enough. Yeah. We have enough pen, surely. As it will be the Baron started up here. I believe that is on vision towards the back of the pit, not spotted out by the control ward. Which, obviously, Team Play don't suspect this is a thing, right? They look at this, they're like, well, we have a control in the pit. There's no way they have vision, but it don't quite reach deep enough. Right? And Stumble Man is just straight in there. Minky, down to 4k on the Baron, down to half HP himself, taken out of the pit by the Cassante, and it will be the Baron taken instead by the Severe of all champions. That makes sense. Sure, why not? Fight going to be started on the backside, and the Cassante is absolutely running over the rift. Blue Monster going to get Pathmaker onto, surely going to fall down. There we go. Orcazo hasn't even had a say in this fight. He got deleted instantly, but it's a triple kill for the Cassante. Chrono Break not going to be out here. Actually, the Zonias that's going to turn into a quadra kill. Please, I beg. Cassante pentakill. I saw it once in the LEC. It was Adam on the Cassante. I would love to see it a second time, as it might be the disengage cone to potentially stop things from happening. No, Starchild's going to stay close. Kappa at 3,000 HP though, and I don't think the Cassante has quite enough to get through this much of a health pool dance. 2k. We might be running out of penta timer.
Yeah.
Jinx Slayer is going to do his absolute best to allow this to happen. The taught's going to keep him away. His Fault Breaker there. Go on, give it. Yeah. Oh.
Hey. Yeah. Pentakill on stream. What a play from Starchild. I do need to call out great job from Flopper Goblin, just assassinating Orzo in that fight, like immediately wanting zero him. But man, these team fights has gone late, and it just feels like Team Flame of all the answers. It's just, it has to be the chaos from these moments like Baron for the Fellowship to have a chance.
And you know the scariest thing? The Sivir didn't even exist in that fight.
Yeah.
That is the late game team fight.
Yeah.
And they won without her.
Yeah.
If that's the case, then what happens when they have the Sivir? Like, I am incredibly scared for what potentially remains of this game for the Fellowship. Sly Old Man trying to not get caught out, going to dredge line out to the edge of the blue buff pit, but he is incredibly dead. Devil's Risen knows how dead he is and knows that he's not worth much gold, so he kindly takes the burden of murder away from his friends. Happy to take the gold for himself. I think he got 140, so he doesn't care all too much.
Yeah, there's some weird items coming in here. We see Overlord's Bloodmail finish for Slayer Jinx.
I saw Double Tunneler and I didn't want to say anything, but it's wrong.
Yeah, no, it's very wrong.
Please buy Guardian's Angel. Like,
yeah,
it's right there. Just buy GA.
We also bought a Shield Bow instead of a Last Whisper Graves. Okay, sure.
Yeah. He's seeing how untanky he is, and he's trying to turn that around, I guess. But if you wanted to be tankier, then other champions are available. Is my response to that one. As it looks like Starchild is trying to make the most of the rest of the Baron play. About 20 seconds left for him, and basically him alone, to utilize that one there in the top side. The rest of the teams looking to group up around this Drake nice and early. Hide on bush strat. Not going to find anyone face checking into the river just yet, but it's incredibly close, incredibly tense in the river, as we're still watching the top side, because that's clearly more important to the director cam. And I think it may just be dissolved eventually there by Team Flame. They realized they pushed a little bit too much. They gave up quite a lot, actually, on the back of this one. I don't think the turret quite falls, but the fact that there's plates lost at all off that play is a little bit scary.
Cassante TP.
That is a Cassante TP. Nice and in time for at least the Drake fight. Is that where you flash away from a huge quickness? Three-man knock-up as well on the back of it. Chosen down to half HP instantly. Minky does do a whole lot of damage, but Shy Old Man does not last long at all, and that'll be Chosen finding first blood of the fight. Orkazo still alive, and it is Sivir in a late-game team fight. The Wave has just randomly died alongside him, and he's got a triple kill already. He's not allowed a penta this time around. Maybe, though, we'll get the quad, as the first kill of the fight didn't go his way. I think it was Chosen who got the other one. So only one pentakiller today. It'll only be Starchild, at least in Game 2. Maybe there's something to come in Game 3, but we know now we will be headed there, as this is all but over. The inhib going to be taken in mid. The Wave is still there. They should be able to have plenty of time to end. 30 seconds on the respawn for everyone that isn't called Nautilus, and that should be us headed over to Game 3.
Yeah, pretty great win here from Team Flame, showing that if they're given that time to get to the late game team fights, they do have the chops to do it out. Pentakill from Cassante, a little bit of messiness from that, but great to see them even this series out. Always want to see games go that full 3. It's Fearless as well, so this means we can see these really interesting picks come through. Not quite the full 5-game Fearless where you start seeing the weird ADCs come out. Someone please pick Kog'Maw so I can talk about him. I love that champion. But that was a great win from Team Flame, and I don't know how much time we have in between this game and our next draft, but I'm excited to see what's going to come out from both these teams. If it's going to be the Fellowship continuing to go with this, kind of try and win lane, win game style, or if they're going to start going towards their own team fighting. They have side selections. They can try to go over to blue and get one of these early priority picks for themselves.
Yeah, but my issue from that point of view is that a lot of these team fight champions have kind of fallen out of what's possible now, right? Because of Fearless, especially through topside, there's no more Ornn, there's no more Cassante, there's no more Sion. Those typical top 3 tanks that we see aren't there anymore. There's still a lot of dive champs left in the pool, but Vi, the most important of those in the jungle, is gone. Ari, the best follow-up from a lot of perspectives of a dive, is also gone. A lot of those key components have been taken out piece by piece through Game 1 and Game 2. We'll see what awaits us in Game 3 draft. After a short little break, we'll be back with Game number 3 draft in just a few.
Keep moving on. Keep moving on. And they say I have a grim sense of humor.
Welcome back, everyone, to the series team Team Flame and the Fellowship. We're just getting ready for Game 3. Looks like sides are going to stay the same, actually, after an unfortunate nosedive there in Game 2 for the Fellowship. Happy to stick around on red side, keep that counter pick in their possession. Team Flame going to stay on the blue as a result, as we are just about to get ready to go into this draft. Is there anything you'd like to see from these two teams? Maybe keep the same, maybe keep different as we head into this one?
I mean, I feel the way is the Fellowship is if you're gonna pick and you're gonna play for this, like, oh, we're gonna win early, just lean into it more, man, right? There's some cheesy stuff out there. There's some premium blue cheese picks out there. You know, if it's not the grades that you're wanting to do, maybe we're playing a game of Nidalee. Maybe there's an Afiri game. There's lots of very early game skewed champions that you generally can see. And you can pick towards those, right? If your jungler is okay with playing Graves, I'm sure they are okay playing a game of something else. Otherwise, I kind of want the Fellowship to stop going towards this. If I'm being real, I would like them to try and match team fighting. They have had some great individual plays. Blue Monster, I think, has been the beta ADC as well. I think it's fair to say throughout this series as well. He looked pretty good that game as Corki, a game that I thought was really hard to play as Corki as well. So I think if they can just play for their Corki, or whoever Blue Monster is playing for the side of the Fellowship, and play a more standard team fighting comp. I think that's the way to go. I think they should try and match it up because you're not going to be able to play like early game psychopaths all the time. There is a time where you're going to have to change up your draft style, and I think it's the time to do it here for the Fellowship.
Yeah, as with most things, right? So there's a time and there's a place for the going of crazy, and Fellowship. It worked out very well in game one, right? Let's not let that go by the wayside. They played a very good win lane win game comp, and I think that was mostly down to how they wanted to play that game out, right? It was still a very solid team fight comp when push came to shove, right? You have Caitlyn Melio, Sion for a great frontline, Wukong can engage, Ziggs to follow up. Still very good team fight comp, but it was also amazing into the lanes that Team Flame had. It was kind of the best of both worlds. Game two, it felt like they were like, oh, we won the lanes and we won game. Let's try and do that again. But when everyone is so needy, you don't have enough support from just a Nautilus to help everyone out. I think that was really the issue they ran into there. We'll see if they go the same way. We'll see if they go different. As Team Flame, I mean, this is what we're going to expect, right? So far, they've gone heavily into team fights, and Hui just another who is amazing during team fights because they have 11 buttons to potentially press.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what Floppy is going to play into this. He's has a lot of really huge counter picks in his pool, plays a lot of these poke mages that can be really, really strong into the Hui. That's generally kind of the things I've seen that's best into him is just outranging him. Things like Lux, Vel'Koz, things like that I think are generally the best picks into him, unless you're going that all-in style and are going to play the Assassin of Fizz or something like that. Jhin does allow your team to play more for these aggressive things. Jhin is a bit more of a supportive ADC in a lot of ways. Not really that excited for Blue Monster to be piloting this pick here. Instead, we're going to go with Gnar. Okay.
Okay. Taking topside early, mitigating a lot of the value you typically see from red side, just taking straight into top, not bothering to get counter pick up there. Have to see what they can get counter pick on now, because it feels like you've already got 3 lanes out the way, and jungle likely to be taken on 2-3. But Team Flame feels like it's just one of those roles that you have no reason to drop right now. And there they go. They're taking the Jarvan because you have an immobile ADC. No matter how far back Jhin plays, you can still throw a Cataclysm at his face, and it will still be very effective. We were screaming for this in game 1 instead of the Wukong. But the Wukong worked, so it's fine. It's allowed all the way through to game 3. And now, I mean, if you're Fellowship, it's very difficult to pick something that's kind of the Outranger into Hui, because a lot of Outrangers are also very immobile, and 2 immobile carries into Jarvan seems very risky at the best of times. Oh my god, that's an Aurelia. Starchild, what are we doing?
This is an OG like counter pick matchup of Aurelia and Gnar. It's just one of those things of Gnar's base stats at level 1 are some of the worst in the game. And Aurelia has some of the most stat checking ability in the game at level 1. It's a matchup that you have to snowball, because if Gnar can space you and outplay you, it becomes absolutely miserable past first items here. But if you get ahead, you can stay so super far ahead. Seraphine going to be the pick on round 3 for the Fellowship, really wanting to get that. So instead of the Ashe Seraphine, we have Jhin Seraphine. Not really the same because you don't have the auto roots coming in here. I personally like MF Seraphine if that was really what you wanted to be going for with those things, because you still had to make it rain for those guaranteed slows. The Jhin traps aren't as exactly...
This almost flips the dynamic. Like, it's like the Jhin has to do the things first, which makes sense, but it's a lot less focused on you go at any time. It's a lot more specific on the time. It's, can Jhin hit a Deadly Flourish? Can Seraphine then follow up a root with a stun instead? Still has a good amount of power behind it as a result. Looking to mitigate a lot of the potential you engage on the other end that Team Flame could go with Blitzcrank and Nautilus finding the chopping block there, as Team Flame had to pick up both of their bot laners. And Fellowship looking for some mid-jungling. So, counter pick, basically mitigated already here by Team Flame. They've got the value they wanted on blue side with priority champions that they were looking for. They don't have some of those downsides that you sometimes find. In some regards, even a positive that you usually get being on red side with that amazing counter pick for Aurelia into Gnar. It all falls down to that Fellowship. What can you do What can you find into Hui, into Jarvan that really values choosing red side for game 3?
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what the heck they're gonna pull out here, because I don't really know what you take here, right? I'm kind of at a loss of how you round this composition out. Diana, I guess you have a little bit of a wombo combo going now that you have Diana Seraphine, right? For those, kind of AoE damage. Gnar can then follow up with that into a wall or something like that. Gnar
But
is
you can't follow
still,
up with Jin.
yeah,
Like,
but
sorry to cut you off, but like,
yeah,
you guys have got a Jin. If we had Misfortune, like you were talking about before,
yeah.
then absolutely a wombo combo can't make sense. But you can't wombo combo with a Jin. You got a Jin.
There's MF on the other side as well. Okay, so we're making sure to get something that's pretty high priority in this bot lane. So I wonder what sort of range support we're going to be going with this. Because there's no way you're picking a melee support here. I mean, Leona, Blitzcrank, Nautilus are all gone. Alistair, I guess, is like the only thing I could maybe see. But like, I feel like you have to take some sort of range support here.
I
To
don't
just
like
match
range support with
this.
Misfortune
Yeah,
though.
I don't either.
That's the issue. Range support
We're not.
Misfortune doesn't feel great. I mean, that's got wombo potential.
Yeah.
You already have Cataclysm plus bullet time. Now you have just another thing to throw at them while they're stuck in the circle of doom. As it will be Fellowship picking up the Z here on R5. And I do have to question with that, who is playing what? Is this a Z mid? Flopper has a fair few games of it.
Yeah.
Diana jungle, or is it the other way around?
I think it's Diana Jungle, because Sly Old Man plays a lot of it, and I guess he could be going into the jungle and
Thought they could do that.
Sending Minky to support as the Seraphine. That would be my guess of what's kind of happening. Because I'm pretty sure you want Zed into play. You do not want Diana into play. That just sounds miserable as Diana. Because I do not think you have the necessarily abilities to stat check him. Zed, at least you can kind of poke him down a little bit until he gets in range for your ult combo for that triple shuriken or something like that. Way kind of doesn't have the range to deal with some of these edge shurikens, whereas I'm pretty sure you have the range to just be able to fear Diana if she ever tries to go in on you and things like that. So I'm guessing this is Zed mid, Diana jungle, and then Seraphine Jin bot lane, but who knows what's going to happen. Teams can do whatever they want, and there's some wacky stuff that we never see coming.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see what happens in Hui. I'll be honest, because I'm not familiar with either of matchups into Hui. It feels like if I had to take a guess, then I mean they'd both be fine. I feel like Diana maybe not so. Apparently, looking at solo queue statistics. So from that, I would assume it is the Z. But it looks like a good lane at any rate for the Diana. It's just apparently you'd end up losing game a lot more than you end up winning it. Go figure. Zed apparently has a much better time, the kind of assassin theory instead of the play from miles away theory. Given what the Fellowship are going to head towards here, as, I mean, heading out of this one, we've had some clear favourites from our first 2 games of who we like more in our drafts. What do we feel about game 3?
I am not a fan of the Fellowship's draft at all. I like Team Flames, again, a lot more. I think picking Zed on round 5 into Renata seems absolutely insane to me. I really don't like this Fellowship draft. I think it's a Team Flame win again.
Well, it's been right half the time so far. We'll see if it comes through once more, as we have some clear bias over here, both sides of the desk, towards team fighting. But Fellowship has shown before, they can play through their lanes if their lanes are dominant enough. Sometimes it takes an early double kill through bot, and when you get those, the game typically goes a lot better. If they do that again, then maybe we're talking a different tune. Have to see what happens as we get onto the rest of game 3. We're back in a few minutes when we're ready. We'll see you guys then. Welcome then on to the Rift, everyone, for the third and final game of the day, of the series, between Team Flame and the Fellowship. We are just getting into things here once more in the early lane phase. A little bit of early trading going on this time around. Some aggressive plays on the bot lane that Blue Monster, I'm sure, would like to have taken back. That really hurt. That Q bounce was beautiful there from Orakazo. And then as well, a bit onto mid. Chosen tanking a little more. I'm sure he would want to do as well. But across the Rift, nothing all too crazy happening as you turn our attention down to this bot lane. See who gets this early prior for level 2. Would expect to see the Seraphine lane be able to do that. But with the extra head damage they've taken, maybe not.
Yeah, and Starchild getting anything done at level 1 here. Capper able to effectively make sure he played safe, didn't die. This is kind of the point. Oh, okay.
You so nearly spoke too soon.
Yeah.
Oh, that was close. Nearly landing the stun there, Starchild. Not quite getting the angle right. Kappa barely avoids that one. Would have probably been at least a flash burn if that lands. Starchild, of course, Ignite Aurelia. Much more aggressive version of Starchild we expect to see in this one. So far has been forced into some pretty rough matchups, if we're going to be honest, right? The Ornn into Sion was not fun to watch as we're heading back down to bot because that's a fun little trade. Devil's Resident got to stand there for 3 seconds without being able to move. Game 2, the Cassante, I mean, he got a pentakill, but he wasn't having fun during the early lane phase. Into the Shen, as now finally gets to have some fun of his own. Already using the Ignite as Kappa does survive and should be able to take a base.
Yeah, it's so incredibly low there on that Mauer. Was just one auto away from dying. Starchild almost getting that solo kill, not quite there. And close doesn't matter unless it's a kill. So nothing for that here. You can see junglers both pathing towards the bot side here. Kind of shocked to say that Minky isn't far ahead on this Diana. Diana's kind of just known as the full clear merchant kind of jungler, right? You just power farm as much as possible, get to 6. Get those big ultimates going here. You are first onto this crab here, but Slurgings is here, so this will be a smite fight over this shellfish.
Yeah, I mean, Pop Pro as well is not great in your favor, but you do have mid running down as well. Flopper Goblin could be the one to turn this one around. Maybe the fight just ends up going down before then. The exhaust as well onto Orakazo, going to force his flash over the wall as First Blood was taken in the end by Blue Monster. Double sums invested. I'm sure he's going to be typing worth if that was even questioned. Slurgings falling down after using his flash. And even without the Zed even having the time to roam down, it's still First Blood for the Fellowship.
Yeah, but they burned 4 summoners for that, right? You can see there's no summoners for Monster. 4. Yeah, and there's just the flash used on by the MF, right? So now he beat Devil's Risen.
And Jarvan flash as well, to be fair.
Yeah.
Sledgeinx tried to escape, was not allowed to. Blue Monster looking to chase, getting slowed down. Can't fire another 4 back at Devil's Risen, who is going to be able to walk away from this one relatively unscathed for now. 300 HP though. May have to make me eat those words. As Slavman, very aggressive posturing, not able to pull the trigger just yet.
Yeah, and I'm kind of shocked to see this Renata just not being able to do anything. Almost always see this champion as a counter pick here. Oh my god.
4-shot,
That's
baby.
it.
Oh, he's put down into the bailout. One final auto attack from the sly old man. You sly old dog. That was beautiful. Also, he thought he tanked the worst of it, but the barrier was late. The 4-shot auto connected, and then somehow Sly Old Man managed to get that perfect timing just after the barrier falls away to get that auto attack in. Beautiful play from him there on the bot side of Starchild, looking to get something going on the top. Unfortunately, into a Mega Gnar. Makes it a little bit more difficult than it was earlier on into the mini. Getting a house thrown in his direction, able to dodge, maybe even looking for the stun, very close. But once more, no cigar.
Yeah, I'm just kind of shocked that he was doing that on the Mega form. You just had to wait just a couple of more seconds there. You had your passive stacked, and if you had that, oh, but here's Hyper Golem.
That's a thing we can do. Okay, just walking forwards. Just, you know what? Screw it. Let's go for the ultimate as well. Spyro is fair used by the way, but you are out of here. Death, signed, sealed, and delivered. Flopper Goblin. Another Ignite lane that we didn't point out earlier. Makes sense. Zed with Electrocuted Ignite. This is a kill lane, and he got a kill. Congratulations. Good luck, Chosen. Now you have no flash.
Yeah, don't have anything kind of CS lead for this. You know, we do see this TP back in for Chosen, so should be able to get this wave in, but we can see the root's gonna land.
Ooh, this is bad. Devil's Risen. You are in danger, my friend. Gonna have to flash away from that one there as Minky putting on a whole bunch of pressure. Gonna force him right the way back. Another summoner burn off of cooldown from the rest of them, off of the timer on the rest of them. As that should as well be the Drake being started up on the bot side. Slayer Jinx looking for potentially a crab on top, so maybe even a gank before hitting level 6. Floppy Goblin is in range of at least the W slow, but it feels like no extras. It's going to be the peel right away from the dragon from at least Sly Old Man. He's going to work his way up to the top side, as this is maybe, yep, just a kill angle. It's a 1-for-1, just about the healing for Starchild, not enough to survive a third turret shot there, but Kappa happy to trade things out, I guess, in a 1-for-1, because the wave actually did not crash, and in some ways is pushing against him.
Yeah, I am amazed from Capper here. We have not built armor. We are building full damage. We are going, I'm going to match this.
Non-plated steel caps is crazy.
Yeah, not going plated steel caps is a sin, man. That's insane.
Yeah, insane, like, the wrong way as well. Like, there are good insane and there is bad insane.
Yeah.
This is the not good version of insane, where we are questioning our sanity.
Yeah.
But, hey, he went 1-for-1, right? So, for now, we can say it's okay. But this is the kind of phase of the game where 1100 gold is what he spent on that phage. That could have been plated steel caps. If he ends up dying a couple more times potentially and not getting the trade back courtesy of the turret, we're going to have a lot more questions. That was a very nice bounce onto Blue Monster, getting that first strike proc as well there for Orcato.
Yeah, and we can see it is lethality MF, right? That is kind of generally the way you build her nowadays. Has that first strike really going to try and make sure to get ahead? Doesn't really have that going now, right? And Blue Monster did get that early BF sword on his first base, which just feels fantastic. Probably going to be Stormrazor again, I'd have to imagine, as Jhin.
I guess so. With a BF sword, at least. I've seen a lot of Hex Optics as well, but doesn't build out the BF sword, so I have to assume at this point. Carry on.
Yeah, I mean, Bork getting built by Aurelia as she is tied to that item completely and utterly, cannot play without it. So Starchild has that recurve bow. Just a little bit away from that, you can see the Dusk and Dawn components coming out here from Minky and this jungle Diana. But Slayer Jinx is down here towards the bot lane. Flopper Goblin. Don't think they saw them here.
Spotted under control. Now definitely spotted, surely. Flag and Drag is going to go wide. A bit more of a safety Flag and Drag than an engaged Flag and Drag. Slayer Jinx just happy to walk away with his life this time around, I think. Means that the roam down Flopper Goblin doesn't get as much value as it potentially could have otherwise, but maybe the second timer from Minky is what we're really paying attention here. He doesn't know the Jarvan's still around, doesn't know if the Jarvan has gone, as we do not want to cover that flash encore. The Moonfall is a lot nicer, but the bullet time over the top is just going to force them back after they already got the kill. Unfortunately, Devil's Risen unable to survive that one there. The curtains called on top of everything else made it way too difficult, and while the encore wasn't the best, they can certainly make that play again, and it'll work out very similarly. Devil's Risen not a chance to survival that time, as Kappa on the top side. He's doing some enough things, but this doesn't feel great. Caught by the edge of the Aurelia ulti, and he is gone.
Yeah, you can't sidestep the ult, unfortunately, so it just means that he just goes down to that. Still hasn't bought armor. We have bought boots, but we have not bought the cloth armor. So you're just going to continue to get one shot here. I think Starchild, after getting that plate there as well, is going to be able to get this reset and get their Bork done. And that is the spike on any champion, I think. It's fair to say. It's probably the biggest spike user,
absolutely.
Yeah.
It is a huge item spike. And Starchild on a premium Bork abuser. Doesn't look like he's quite going to get there yet, I wouldn't imagine. Maybe the... Oh, no. Wow, straight up. Okay, my bad. 10 minutes in. Blade of the Roaring King. Where do we say that we're scared? Is it right here?
Yeah, I think
I'm scared.
Fair to say that I'm scared. As Capper, we're probably saying that. We have our TP, so when we get like 2-shot by this Aurelia combo, we can TP back to lane and be ready for it to happen again. That's good. Well,
you get to mitigate one more death. That's good.
Yeah.
Or it's a donation of 200 gold, depending on how you look at it. Neither sounds fun. Gonna throw that out there.
Yeah.
Neither sounds all too desirable.
Yeah, Slayer Jinx is on the bot side here, clearing out these camps. Maybe we'll have a timer to look for something, but we can see Minky down here as well, just finishing off this rump. Both pretty even in terms of farm here. Diana not really able to pull away just yet here. Hasn't finished their Dusk and Dawn yet. Should have it finished here just after this reset, I believe. Also, Brutalizer in inventory for Flopper Goblin, so we're going towards the Profane Hydra, I believe. That's
I'd
the
imagine so.
Yeah.
That is the Lethality Hydra, so one would assume, but waiting on his own first item spikes. The junglers, naturally, by virtue of being in the jungle role, are going to get there before most other champions. The Star Child is an outlier and should not be counted. I guess we can say the same for the bot lane of the Fellowship. Maybe that is just an outlier, maybe it's just a trend at this point. Stormrazor and Echozahelia, those early kills providing a whole lot of early value, and that should as well provide second Drake for the Fellowship as they look to claim this mountain and head in towards a very early soul potentially here. Just, you know, kind of 22-minute kind of barrier. Very dangerous as a soul timer for Team Flame, as it will be an Ocean Soul.
Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty big lead that they've gotten. It almost feels like, right? It's not the biggest gold lead, but 2 dragons feels really, really big, and this is a dive potential here.
Yeah, I mean, it's even a dive. You're not under the turret anymore. Orkazo has worked his way very far away from his old turret, as we are getting plays on both sides of the rift at the same time. Now, the first thing you learn when you play League is that you don't make plays on 2 sides of the rift at the same time. And both these teams are working out why, because it causes absolute carnage. And who does best in the carnage? It is Starchild by far. Unfortunately, he does not flourish this time around. Instead, he loses out on the top side play while his team is winning in the 3v3 in bot. They've already got 2. They get the third courtesy of the bailout. Orkazo able to stay alive. Thank you to Devil's Risen. So the 3v3 works out in Team Flame's favor, but the 2v2 in the top side goes straight against them. The Fellowship, I don't know what to say. There's just plays everywhere.
Yeah, and it was the Volcanic Cyclo Sword, actually, not this...
Psycho.
Yeah, Psycho, whatever.
No, you're right. I'm saying he's a Psycho. That...
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, that's a crazy call out here. I mean, it does give you the auto crit, I believe, or something like that. The enhanced auto something like that. It is the burst item if you want one as Zed here, so big chance here now for Flopper to see if he can continue. I mean, I figured it would have been that Tiamat item to give you some more wave clearance and ability to push Chosen in, but Chosen is playing so far back that you already have that, so I guess you might as well go for it.
Yeah, and I mean, all the dashes that Zed has means that Enjai stacks so much faster with the Voltaic Cycle Sword. Could look to go towards more Enjais, could look to just go more lethality, would assume the latter. As Man looking for a play on Chosen, but not going to find one. Said handshaken and going to dodge nice side step on the Severing Bolt. Kappa on the top side still has no boots, and therefore still has no fun in the top lane. Triforce completed does mean he can trade back somewhat, but Starchild does not care about your auto attacks. He presses W, he mitigates half of it, and he just kind of exists better right now than Kappa could ever hope to.
Yeah, I'm kind of shocked that Starchild isn't trying to go for more aggressive plays and look for a dive there. I mean, he had ult. So I feel like that was an angle too. Capra was only at, half of this, and he isn't going for like a freeze or anything like that either as the Aurelia here. I just feel like he's not playing towards his outs. Yeah, sure, you're shoving the Snar in and have a 20 CS lead in these couple of kills.
Oh, because hold on, sorry. Good ideas thinking about, but the theory has been completely overrun by Minky, who's looking for a play instead with the Moonfall. Curtains called as well, but just out of range there was Blue Monster. Orcas are able to survive with a flash used early on. Slayer Jinx may not be all too safe. Turning around with a Flag and Drag, gets a Sunder Sky proc, and suddenly Minky is the one in danger. And we talked about it before. The amount of death that's prevalent when you have the Thunderdome combined with a bullet time is just all too much. Still a 1-for-1 though, as Slayer Jinx did eventually fall, but the Severing Bolt turns it around perfectly from Chosen. Picks up the second of the fight, turns it to a 2-for-1, and does lose out a little bit on mid, but still, I'm sure, very happy to receive a double kill in return.
Yeah, I'm wondering how many waves have gone into this tower here for Flopper Goblin. Is able to get that third plate there now.
Econ CS though.
Yeah, I mean, it should have been a big CS lead, I felt like there. That also was a crazy queue. I feel like that was an opportunity to maybe get a kill there if Capper was a little bit quicker on it.
Tiny little bit of a skill check, almost just diving around,
Yeah.
as Aurelia sometimes does. Kappa, luckily for him, doesn't throw out the big Gnar after the Aurelia's already flown back. So at least has that going in his favor, but still, with outplayed Steel Caps in absolute misery, completely pushed in every time, and it gives Starchild the ability to have a look at plays like the Rift Herald, for example, which has spawned now on the top side of the map. Next Drake as well, spawning in 45 seconds. We've seen a high focus so far from the Fellowship on that objective. Mid lane suddenly becomes bot, but that means that there's a bit of an overload here. Chosen effectively 1v3 right now. Does have the wave clear to survive for the time being, and it might be enough there for Flopper Goblin to just about think twice.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to be able to keep themselves and keep this way really safe. I didn't think so. I thought this for sure would have just been Flopper looking to cut off his wave, but Chosen.
Why is it the
might get a
Seraphine who's
kill
pushing
here.
by herself?
Yeah.
I feel like if we're going to be pushing this, then we need more than just the Seraphine and only the Seraphine. Am I crazy on that one?
Yeah. That was a great fear as well from Chosen. He's
Oh,
gonna get
Chosen,
out.
yours. Chosen's kind of cracked. Like,
Yeah.
all the people that you're going to try and like check with hands right now, I'm not hands checking Chosen. That was beautiful. Double sidestep. One for the Deadly Flourish, one for the first part of the curve that's being called. And then beyond that, Blue Monster had to cancel it because he saw how many people just running down to the bot side. Of course, no Seraphine up means that much more difficult to fight this Drake now, as there's also an opening through bot for Starchild. TP can come through from Kappa. Very nice bar management as well if they do want to take this fight. But it is just a little bit too late, I fear. As the Drake has already fallen down and the TP, how could it come through? Devil's just walking up instead of walking away. Bullet time, it doesn't look great. Berserk is onto 2, and it's going to get the first kill at the very least. Minky falls down, but it's instantly traded out as 1-for-1, 1-for-2, 1-for-3, and it's now all onto the Aurelia, all onto Chosen as well. To see what he can do in this fight, but he's getting completely run over right now by the Jhin. Starchild is not getting run over by anyone. Still getting Mega Nard though, and there is a Jhin now in his face. Deadly Flourish is going to be tanked up, and unfortunately that will be Starchild falling down 1v3 and closed on Chosen for it. Unfortunately, going to go wide on the Spiraling Despair. Still a massive amount of damage. The passive actually will get the kill onto the Jhin, but there is Kappa once more, flashing over, and will pick up, I believe, his third kill of the fight. Puts himself up now to 4-2-4.
Yeah, pretty great plays around, other than Slayer Jinx, who trapped his whole team in a Diana ult in that fight. That was not a good look from our Jarvan. Slayer Jinx not having the greatest game so far right now, but the rest of his team really kind of pulling through here. Starchild very, very close to just running away with this game. I feel like it's just so close on this Aurelia, but again, it's one of those things. Aurelia really needs to be ahead and stay ahead to be able to stat check people. If you're not ahead as this champion, you're behind. So hopefully Starchild can get something going in this next while, or they might find themselves really falling off.
Sorry, I was meant to pick up the slack, but I looked at Blue Monster's items.
I just did it as well and just kind of did it.
Stopped me from thinking.
Yeah.
The first one, it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
Sure. Stormraiser, go nuts. Phantom
But,
Dancer?
We are not playing Earth, by the way. This isn't the fast Jhin. Just by the way, Blue Monster. So
Phantom Dancer.
yeah. It gives you the ability to kite really well. I'll give them that. It gives you a lot of movement speed as Jhin because you convert attack speed and stuff into that. So you're really fast. You can see it there, but I don't know if movement speed is the thing you need this game. I'm gonna be real.
I'm stunlocked. I can't get over that. Phantom Dance second. I can't even find any statistics for how good or otherwise this is, because it's just not played. It's not played at all in solo queue, and maybe that's an indication of what's going on. Maybe Blue Monster has something up his sleeve. Who knows? At any rate, mid tier 1 has already been taken, and then the bot tier 1 following suits. Now 2 bricks taken to 0 for the Fellowship. Finally starting to break over the map just the tiniest little bit. If we get something going in their way.
This mid lane tower going down is probably pretty big for Flopper, but he's stuck in bot lane right now just with Chosen. Here's the fight, though.
Okay, curtains called. And all that move speed, very important when you can't move at all. And Flash, Cataclysm, we can talk about that maybe another time. Slayer Jinx gonna have to just flag and drag his way up to safety. Nice Sparring Spear gonna land onto the sly old man, but the worst trade definitely taken by Team Flame, forcing away right now. Fellowship looking to keep this pressure up. By the way, this was a 4 versus 5. They had numbers disadvantage. Zed is still split pushing, and yet still the trades are so in their favor. Kappa's Narbar is absolutely perfect to go popping off in a fight such as this. Minky, great golden to avoid most of the hostile takeover. He's going to get the first kill of the fight. Star Child going to fall down. It's already the retreat. Kappa doesn't have a flash. Can't quite go for a crazy play. Instead, just going to throw a house at Slayer Jinx, who has to flag and drag his own way back to safety. Nah doesn't quite land its way into the wall. The wall at will. The split push still going on the bot side. Is Flopper Goblin doing absolute best, and that's another kill going over. The Team Flame are losing absolutely everything, and they're not getting anything in return. They're losing the fight on the front lines. They're losing the macro game on the backside. They just got... Was that 5-0? Did Orcazal die at the start? I don't even remember. They got dismantled is what happened.
Yeah, that's a terrible look, man. I'm in awe at how well, in some ways, the Fellowship are playing. Blue Monsters looked so good on this Jhin. That was an incredible timing by Minky and Capper, just making sure to like keep this fight going. Oh, here's a Zed combo.
Yep, that was a death mark. Looking to try and escape best he can. Delay the Aurelia so they don't see the Baron.
Okay.
Good job, he's out.
Yeah. And we've upgraded our broken stopwatch into the Zonias. Whatever Seekers is called when it's broken, doesn't matter.
Shatter God?
Yeah, that sounds right. And we're building Infinity Edge now as Jhin, so we're still building damage items. That's good to see.
Yeah, he might even start doing some damage as well.
Yeah.
The kiting was lovely, and hopefully soon he'll be able to hurt the enemy team when they start hurting him. But, I mean, hey, we saw just from that fight. The Team Flame had a tough time actually hurting him, as it's just all the spacing we talked about these builds, but they couldn't get near the Jhin. They couldn't really find a suitable engaged target that whole time. Cataclysm has not been Slayer Jinx's premium engaged tool that we hoped it would be for him this game. Instead, it's been just a tool that Fellowship have used to almost entrap their own enemies, which is a little bit odd, as they're going to get another Drake fight started up here. Flying forward, but can't quite land the smite. Slayer Jinx at least going to have to flash. Oh, wait, he doesn't have it. He is stuck in the pit. He is gone to the 4-shot, which is going to come through. Didn't even need the 4-shot. The 3-shot was enough. Devil's Risen also caught out a little bit here. Hostile takeover only onto one of Flopper Goblin. Is probably in the backline. He's other side of the bullet time. He does not care at all. He's even going to mark Chosen for death. That didn't go great. Ends up falling down, and this was another time where it was a 4v5 where a team took a fight. This time, it was the team that losing that took a fight when it was 4v5. Shockingly, it didn't work very well, and you tried to base under your own tier 2 turret. Kappa says, no thank you, I would like your life instead. You can go back to the fountain, but it'll take you 40 seconds.
Yeah, and they have Baron, so we're going to get a whole bunch of damage. We're probably going to get all these plates in this tier. And this mid-inhibit tower, we can see some going down as well from Minky and this bot. They're gonna build to break this, it looks like, and I don't know if you really want this fight.
Danger on both sides here. I feel like it's just disengage. Gonna aid both teams, but still breaking the base. Very important for the Fellowship. Not taking the inhib as well. Probably not too early to take an inhib, I have to say, with the soul spawning in under 5 minutes. Completely valid that they were able to, but the force back from Team Flame just enough to push away this time around. And even where they, from where Fellowship stand, they're absolutely fine with this, right? They can use the final 30 seconds as Baron to take a reset. Maybe look see if they can get top tier 1. If they can't, oh well, they've already got so much value out of the Baron, and now they can really start to turn attention to this Drake, as we were saying, as these timers are about as synced up as they're ever going to get.
Yeah, I think the real issue here is Aurelia has built a hull breaker, so we have fully committed as Starchild to saying, yeah, good luck in the team fights, guys. I'm going to be on the sideline.
I saw that one, man. No, thank you.
Yeah,
no
exactly. No, that doesn't look fun, so...
It was not fun when I did it before. I'm not going to do it again, as Chosen is also not having fun. Flopper Goblin going to help him clear out the wave, as he takes the Sparring Spare over to clear most of it out, but still able to survive, as it was the death mark that finished Chosen off. As we, I'm lagging. I can't see what's happening. Do you see what's happening?
Not at all. Okay, we're back.
Well, let's hope it's working back, as we are curtains are called. We are bullet timing into middle of absolutely nowhere, unfortunately, for Okazo, as it will be a Zonya's to make sure that Emki stays safe, staying alive. as it will be a nice little
Why are you
usage
in the
there. Slayer Jinx is very dead, and this, as you said, is a flanking Renata, which I think has worked out about as well as it possibly could. He caught two with his ultimate, and then other things happened.
Yeah.
He is the last player alive, because Chosen is only just respawning, from what we saw on the top side. 2 minutes left on both objectives, but hey, who cares about objectives? Let's just take a couple of inhibs, and let's see what other damage we can do. Second turret taking the top as well by Flopper Goblin, and Kappa's looking for more. Looking to see if there's anything else he can salvage out of this play. Anything more he can grab before they are looking for a run. Gonna be maybe that inhib turret, maybe the inhib as well, but I feel that might just be one little overstay too many. Instead, the full retreat call. Starchild doesn't want to let this go in easy. Nice gnaw back, gonna keep the Aurelia caught somewhat. Charmed up, stunned up, incredibly low, into the bailout, but can't get a kill. Surely no, will fall down. Flag and drag in, that will be a Castellan kill. The Jhin has been caught, the Jhin has been shut down. Nice kill over to Chosen. Into a 4v4 we go. Floppy Goblin doesn't want to let us go too easily. Back in. He's going to get an insta deletion onto Orkazo. Second kill goes his way as well. Nice kill there from Minky. All onto the Jarvan, basically. Chosen forced right the way back on this fight. Will get a lot of damage dealt, but surely will not be able to survive. Minky just needs one more auto there. It will go the dash forward. Going to guarantee the ability to do so. Now Slayer Jinx is the last alive for his team. It feels like everyone's having a rotation. Who gets to be the last alive at this time? This time it's the Jarvan. And it feels like the game is reaching an inevitable state. 12k gold lead, triple inhib, and just the Jarvan to try and defend absolutely everything. Gets a lot of damage onto the Seraphine, but they don't care. They're hitting the Nexus, not the Vlad. And as such, it should be a pretty freebie. If the Seraphine dies, then the Seraphine dies, but they don't care at the end of the day. It will just be the kill of the Nexus and the Fellowship. Happy to take another one just by clearing through the lanes, winning the lanes, and somehow just snowballing off the back of it.
Yeah, I mean, win lane, win game appears to be the name of the game for the Fellowship, and they're able to do it there. Just some pretty unfortunate team fights, I think, for the Flame, right? They just didn't have it, and this Aurelia pick that I thought was really going to smash this Gnar in the early game just didn't do anything, right? It got the one kill, and it went 20 CS up, and nothing ever came of that, right? We didn't get any towers, we didn't split push effectively. Nothing really happened from it, and that huge like 5v4 fight when Zed was just able to win on the bot side of the map was just it was the game was over after that. It just felt like Flame wasn't on the right page, and it was just so many of these ults from I think the Jarvan coming out. We really have to call out. We're just not good in any way. It just felt like it got his team killed over and over again, trapping this Diana in with them.
Yeah, I think target selection definitely something they're going to have to work on. As I was really excited to see this Aurelia pick, as you said as well, right? I think typically when you just see an Aurelia slammed, you maybe have some questions, but Starchild has like his most games of the season played on this champion. If there was someone who was going to pilot an Aurelia into an R and absolutely run that matchup over, it was going to be him. But unfortunately, it did not quite turn out this way this time around. Instead, Kappa in the top side, the only platinum player for the Fellowship, able to hold firm in the top side. He's basically had 3 winning lanes this day as a result, right? The Scion into the Ornn, absolutely dominant. Game 2, we can debate that one maybe a little bit more. The Shen, maybe if we wielded some different items, could have been a lot more dominant, but it was still solid enough and ended up falling down to a pentakill Cassante. It happens to the best of us, I guess, but and then we would have assumed was a losing matchup. Ends up getting the best of it, and his impact in the team fights was so well felt. Hats off to Kappa. If I were to take my hat off to anyone today, you guys don't want to see what's underneath. Kappa is a very good job on what could have been a very difficult day of League for him.
Yeah, I think a big shout out to him, but I mean, I feel like the biggest player of the game for me and was Blue Monster. I mean, he ran game 1 basically as that K1 after giving that double kill, just took over completely. And in that game 3 is that Jhin again. He just felt like he was really impactful. Like, you know, the curtain call wasn't like the greatest, like, oh, look at the damage it's doing, but it was providing the slows and everything and giving those chances for Diana and for Nard to get into the team fights and to be able to produce and just buying time. I think that was a really great play from him, and they're going to be the player I'm going to be tracking kind of from the Fellowship moving forward to see how their stats kind of continue throughout this season because they had a fantastic week 1 series. I think they laned incredibly well, and they looked good in team fights.
Yeah, I had to. I'm also interested to see how Flopper Goblin goes on, not just because of the name, but also
Yeah.
because of how well he's played as well today. It feels like it has been a massive team effort from the Fellowship. Game one, maybe less to be said about the Ziggs performance into the Azir. It was kind of the one lane that
Yeah.
wasn't absolutely dominant for the Fellowship, but it didn't matter in the end. He had his teammates pull him through, and he still came up big when it mattered the most. And then in game two, he's the reason why that game went long. Right? Let's not get it twisted. On the Echo, he was the reason why game two was as close as it was, and why Team Flame had to grind as much as they did to be able to pick up a victory there. And then the Zed was just absolutely disgusting into the Hui. He feels like he couldn't have put a foot wrong if he tried, and it ends up being an overall match win for the Fellowship. They start things off at 1-0, exactly how everyone wants to, but only half the teams get to. Now Fellowship will have to see if they can continue that, as it will be top four who get to progress to the playoffs. A great start for them to do precisely that.
Yeah. It should be a really interesting season of BOL. Again, every team is going to play each other in this round robin. Top four go to playoffs. See how these divisions stack up against each other. We're wondering, a lot of people, myself kind of included, if this Ixtal division that we were watching tonight are going to be the weakest division. A lot of kind of unknown players in here, but players can really surprise us. I mean, this Fellowship team, a lot of us had kind of written off, kind of going, I don't know any of these guys and they don't have the greatest solo queue stats. They played really well, like just by themselves, like micro wise. There was some really great stuff on display here from the Fellowship. So maybe they'll be a dark horse in the playoffs. Who knows?
Yeah. I'm very interested to see how they do, because it's all well and good to have that individual micro stuff, but to be able to pull that together as well when you are unknown, and then be able to have the type of macro games that we saw, I feel very impressed. A lot of it was based off the lanes, a lot of it was based off of how well you can do individually, but then to be able to convert that as a team into 2 wins out of 3, oh so important, and it's not something that every team possesses, right? This is, especially when you're new to this type of format, quite a difficult thing to sometimes find as a team. The Fellowship are able to do so in spades today. We'll see if they're able to do it next week out, but before then, plenty of other games to be keep on watching here in Blue Otter. Every single league is starting up. I believe Diamond should be on the Thursdays, if nothing else. Other leagues are available. And then don't forget Premier as well at the weekends. You get to see me, if you aren't sick of me already, for Premier, for some more Emerald Cap shenanigans like we got to see today. But until then, we will see you guys next time. Thank you all for watching Blue Otter, and we'll see you then.